called A Night at Burnwood Manor. My name is Alex Costello. I'm going to be everyone's game master for this evening, or keeper in Call of Cthulhu lingo. So this scenario takes place in an old Victorian mansion about an hour north of Arkham, Massachusetts. All of our players have been named beneficiaries in the will of one Jebediah Blackburn, a man that probably none of you have ever really met. You might not even be related to him. If you are, it's probably a pretty distant relation. So I think what we're going to do to introduce everyone's characters, so we're going to do them one at a time. Think the opening of Clue. That's basically, if you've seen the movie Clue, that's basically what we're going for here. So if everyone just wants to roll 1d10, we'll see whoever gets the highest number gets to go first.
I got an 8.
All right. To remember to unmute yourselves when you talk.
Yeah. I got a 6.
8.
Like I have a 9.
9. Can our Reverend beat a 9?
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were looking at our roles in the channel.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. I will open Discord up again.
I got a 7.
Okay. So while I wait for my computer to catch up with that. So Professor Howerton, you received this letter in the mail saying that you were the named beneficiary in the will. Do you know Jebediah Blackwood, or are you related to him in any way?
I do not know.
Okay. So the letter informs you that your grandfather had done business with Jebediah Blackwood at some point, and your grandfather was named a beneficiary in the will. And since you are now your grandfather's surviving relative, that has transferred to you. So apparently you're getting something from this guy's will. As the car that you're in drives up to the house, you think that might be a good thing. You get to Arkham, Massachusetts, and you have to take a long hour-long drive through the backwoods of the area. You go through large pine trees, dark roads to get there. Of course, there's a storm outside that's just battering down. The wipers on your car are barely able to keep the water off so that you can see. And finally, you have to stop at a large wrought iron gate. There is a buzzer outside. You have to roll down your window and reach out to hit the button. Just in that brief instant, your arm gets soaked from the rain. You hit the buzzer, and then a moment later, the gates and just slowly open inward onto the property. You drive up this hill. The house sits at the top of a rather ominous hill, and as you're driving up, a bolt of lightning silhouettes it, and you see this old Victorian mansion with a parapet rising up on one side. You bring the car to a stop in the front of the circular driveway, and you run out, go to the front door. That's large, heavy oak doors, and there's a large brass knocker that you grab. Chung, chung, chung. And a moment later, the door opens, and very much like that background that our soldier had for a second there, yes. The door opens, and a tall, gaunt man, sunken cheeks, pale skin, he's entirely bald, is standing there, and he looks down at you. So why don't you describe your character for us? What does this man see?
So it's a sort of stereotypical professor. He's got a tweed jacket with patches on it, glasses, a rain cover on right now because of the weather going on. He's a short, unassuming, has a beard streaked with a little bit of gray. It looks like he's been spending a lot of time digging through the library as opposed to outside, let's say.
Okay. So this tall butler, the man who opens the door is dressed like a stereotypical butler. He's got a black coat with tails, gray pants, and his shirt. He's got a little bow tie tied. He looks down at you, and he says, "Good evening, sir. Please step inside." And he moves out of the way. for you to walk in.
Oh, thank you, and I'll enter.
All right. So you step inside. May I take your coat, sir?
Yes, please.
He takes your coat off your shoulders and gives it a little shake. There's a closet right next to the front door. He opens up and takes a hanger and hangs your coat up. You look around. The foyer you're standing in is very large, and it's well decorated for like 100 years ago. It has not been updated at all, maybe. There's dark wood floors, lots of dark wood everywhere. The walls look like they're made of crushed velvets, with like spaces of in the wallpaper where there's like ivory stripes with this black pattern running through, like a black paisley pattern running through it. There's a large chandelier in the ceiling above you that's illuminating most of the room, and there's a few sconces every once in a while. There's a large staircase on the left side of the room that leads up into the second floor, and you can see doors up there and around. It looks like kind of like a galley. There's just doors all the way around up there. And there's a large door to your left as you walk in, and a large door to your right. You set your bag down, and the butler says, "My name is Malcolm, sir. If there's anything you need, do not be afraid to ask." And he gestures to the right. "You are the first of the guests to arrive. Would you care to wait in the sitting room?"
Oh, certainly, of course.
"Very good. I shall bring your bag up to your room." So he gestures for you, and then he picks up your suitcase and just starts slowly boom, boom, walking up the stairs. So if you make your way to the sitting room, it's a comfortable room. There's lots of plush, overstuffed couches and chairs. Again, they seem very, very old. There's sort of a sheen of dust on most everything. There is a fireplace though, and the fire is going, and it's making everything nice and warm, considering how cold and wet and dreary it is outside. There's a bar cart with a few crystal decanters filled with various liquids. There's glasses and ice set out. Nothing is labeled, but if you wanted to pour yourself a drink, you could probably figure something out.
So I'll dust off a seat cushion and pour myself a drink of something and have a seat by the fire.
All right, you grab a bottle of something brown. It smells good, and you take a seat. You're getting comfortable when you hear another boom, boom, boom at the door. So who would be arriving next? Is anyone volunteering?
I got an 8.
Okay, so
So
our paranormal
I can
investigator.
show up next.
So Harvey, the cab that you're taking up from the train station in Arkham, the driver is not too excited about going up here. He's looking back at you. You sure that this is the right place, buddy? I don't think I've ever been up here before.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Oh, okay. He gets to the gate and hits the buzzer. And again, the same. The gate slowly opens. He drives up, and as you pull up, you see there's a car parked in front of the house. Oh, is it a party or something?
Yeah, something.
All right. Well, let's have fun. Be carful. The storm's pretty bad up here. Wouldn't be surprised if you guys got a blackout.
Yeah, it's not the storm I'm worried about. I mean, it's fine. It's just rain.
Yeah. Well, Massachusetts rains. They can be something else. So you pay him, and then you get out. You run up to the front door, and you you knock, and that same giant pale butler opens the door. "Oh, good evening, sir. Would you care to step inside?"
Yeah, it's real wet out here.
"Yes, it is. It is raining." "May I take your coat, sir?"
Do you gotta?
"No, but I could hang it in the closet. But if you do not wish, then you may keep it."
I'll tie it around my waist if I get hot.
"Very good, sir. You are the second guest to arrive. Would you care to wait in the sitting room with the other guests while I bring your bag upstairs?"
Yeah, who's here?
Mr. Howerton has already arrived.
That's real informative. Thanks. Yeah, I'll go sit with him.
You're very welcome, sir. And he takes your bag and starts going upstairs. You walk into the sitting room, and there's a man sitting by the fire with a drink. Sorry,
Oh,
I
you're
was going to say more. That's what you say.
you're one of those bookish people.
Hello. Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah. So what do you know about this place?
Oh, I got a letter to arrive. It seems there could be some money, hopefully. And that's really all I know.
Yeah, so you're just here for the money? That's good. You never been here before?
No. What about yourself?
Yeah, been a couple times. It's a really interesting house, should we say?
Oh, how so?
In my line of work, we kind of know, the paranormal type places. It's fine though. You're like, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Oh, quite interesting. My name is Professor Howerton, but call me Bruce, please.
Yeah, okay, Bruce. I'm Harvey. Javi. I said it wrong. I'm Javi.
Javi. All right. As you're making your introductions, the two of you hear another boom, boom, boom.
Oh, good, more people.
Reverend, you were also taking a car from the train station up. As you're driving up, you actually see another cab heading back down the road, which is the first car you've seen for probably about 45 minutes. It's been a very long, lonely drive up. And your cab even says, "Oh, wow, there's another one. Huh? Didn't expect to see that around here."
I suppose there are other people coming tonight. That sort of surprises me.
So, what is this you're doing? Is it like a dinner party, or you visiting a friend?
I'm wrapping up my late grandfather's affairs, actually.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. That's
Please
rough.
don't be. God comes for all of us when he's ready to welcome us to our heavenly reward. Although I don't know whether my grandfather Jebediah is getting a heavenly reward, but that's perhaps a conversation for another day.
Yeah, it's the cabbie suddenly seems very uncomfortable because he put his foot in his mouth, and you took it a lot better than he thought you would. So he just kind of sits in silence for the rest of the drive up. You get dropped in front of the home, and the cabbie actually gets out and runs to the back and grabs your bag and opens the door. And runs up with you to the front of the house and sets the bag down. He's like, "All right, well, take care, Padre. Good luck with all the stuff and the."
Oh, that wasn't necessary,
Grandpa.
but thank you very much. And I'd like to give him a generous tip.
Sure. He's well, thank you. God bless. I guess.
God bless to you.
And he
Please get home safely.
Oh, I will. This is I ain't gonna be caught out dead once the storm really picks up. And then he runs off back to his cab, and it turns around the driveway and drives off just as the door opens and you see the butler. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, butler, whose name I probably know, but don't actually remember in the game.
My name is Malcolm, sir.
Oh, Malcolm, it's been a very long time. How are you?
Very good, sir. Would you care to come in out of the rain?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much.
All right. Could I take your coat, Reverend?
Yes, thank you very much.
He takes your coat and hangs it up. Some of the other guests have already begun to arrive, and they are in the sitting room, if you would care to join them.
I suppose I will. I'm surprised there aren't others here.
Yes, we are still expecting a few more before the evening's events shall begin.
Okay, well, I will follow you.
The sitting room is right over there. I shall take your bag up to your room, sir. He picks up your bag and trundles. You all know that you are going to be spending. It was an overnight affair, so you all have like a weekend bag, and he walks up the stairs with a bag. You walk into the sitting room and you see the other two guests who have already arrived.
Greetings.
Hello. My name is Bruce. I'm here with Harvey. How are you?
I'm as well as can be expected. My name is Reverend Phillips. It's very nice to meet you. How did you know my grandfather?
I myself did not actually. I'm not sure exactly who sent me the letter, but I was asked to come here, and here I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. You received the letter from a law firm. I could tell you the lawyer's name, but my Google Chrome does not want to stay open. But you did receive a letter from a lawyer on official legal letterhead saying that you have been named a beneficiary of the will. It wasn't just some random person sending you a letter.
Yes, a legal letter asking me to come. So of course I answered.
I'm more here for the house.
Oh, you're going to be receiving the house and the will?
No, I'm just looking at it.
Oh.
And I wanna stay like on the other side of the room from the Reverend. Like, don't come too close to me.
There's enough furniture that you can strategically place in between you two, so it doesn't look like you're avoiding them. You're just getting close to the fire.
I'm just taking a look at the books on the shelves and things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
All right. Well, you guys are having a totally not at all awkward introduction. There is one final knock at the door. Boom, boom, boom. And we cut to outside. So Teddy, how are you getting here? You driving yourself or are you taking a cab?
I actually would think Teddy would walk here.
I was really hoping you would say that, actually.
He's not. He doesn't have any money. He's probably like dressed in a suit. He's not obviously not used to wearing. Uncomfortable.
Okay.
He carries a green duffel bag with him.
Okay. So by the way, I think you're the only one here who has a starting gun. That is packed away in your luggage. It's not, you're not just carrying it on you. Massachusetts, they can't really get away with that quite so much. But you have it. It's in your bag.
Okay.
So you have easy access to it. But if combat were to break out right now, you would have to take a turn to get your gun out of your bag.
Okay.
But so you're trudging your way up this hill. You watch as one cab just zooms by you, and then about 10 minutes later, another one zooms by you again. And you're just getting towards the top. There's another bolt of lightning, and you can kind of see the house up in the distance. And you come to the same wrought iron gate on the road that everyone else did. So you hit the buzzer, and it opens inward for you.
Okay.
And you trudge your way up. And by the time you finally get to the stairs, you are just soaked to the bone. You had a do you have a raincoat?
Yeah, I have a raincoat on.
Okay.
But it's like a heavy raincoat. It isn't like it's more of a military style raincoat.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah. So it worked for like the first hour, but by now you're just soaked through. Your pants where the coat stops are just totally soaked. Your shoes are making that squishing sound as you walk because it is coming down outside. And so the door opens and you see the butler and he says, good evening. Would you care to come in out of the rain, sir?
Oh yes, please. Teddy, what's your name?
Malcolm, sir.
Oh, nice to meet you, Malcolm.
Very good. May I take your coat, sir?
Actually, I was wondering, is there some place I can change real fast? Kind of wet.
Very good, sir. I can lead you up to your room.
Okay, thank you.
So you follow him up the stairs. So you see the same first floor described before. As you go upstairs, the stairs are very creaky. Every step you take, they're carpeted with like a deep red carpet, but it's worn threadbare, mainly in the center area where people walk. and you get to the top, and it's a big L-shaped landing. There's a large door at the top of the stairs, and then there's 2 smaller doors that go down, and then a few smaller doors on the other side. And he leads you around where the banister is to one of the smaller doors. It's not, I say smaller, it's just a regular sized door, but it's not as big as the other one was. And he opens the door for you into a modest sized bedroom. It's nothing fancy, but it's better than what you're used to. There's a bed. There's a small dresser where you can keep your clothes. There's an armoire for hanging stuff. It doesn't look like there's no sink or anything, but there's a little basin on top of the dresser that has fresh water in it if you want to like wash up or freshen yourself. This will be your room for the evening, sir, if you would care to get yourself comfortable. The other guests are waiting down in the drawing room when you're ready.
Okay. Thanks, man. And then I'm just going to go in there. As soon as I get in there, I'm going to shut the door. Is there a lock on it?
Yeah, there's a privacy lock.
Okay, I'm going to lock the door. I'm going to change real quickly into more comfortable clothes, ones that ain't wet. And then I'm going to take my pistol and I'm going to shove it in the back of my.
Okay. Are you trying to like hide it from people, or are you just carrying it with you and not?
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable right now.
Okay.
And this is like a comfort thing, really, for me. Not.
Gotcha. All right. So if you're not really trying to hide it, then that's fine. Yeah. So you tuck your pistol in the back. You come out of the room. You feel, just change of clothes, you feel a lot better. You also feel like 20 pounds lighter because you're not carrying all that wet stuff on you. You head down the stairs and you hear voices coming from one of the side rooms. And you enter and you see 3 other people.
Hello, I'm Teddy. And I go around and start like shaking hands, just kind of measuring them up, like trying to figure out what's going on here. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know this person. Just got a letter. So I'm kind of uneasy about why I'm here. And this does not seem like my crowd at all.
It is a rather eclectic mix.
I'm Reverend Phillips greets Teddy warmly and says, "Hello, I'm Reverend Phillips. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And you are? And I point towards the professor.
Reach out with my hand. Call me Bruce. I'm a professor at Miskatonic University. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, pleasure to meet you as well. And then I walk over to Harvey. My name's Teddy.
Hey, Teddy. He's probably the one that I'm most comfortable being around. Because I get him. I'm like, okay, I know what you are. Like, you'll be useful. That's fine. I'll throw you in front of something.
That's what he's here for.
All right. So we got we got the books, and we got the church, and we got the meat. We got the me. So it's gonna be an interesting night, I think.
There's another knock at the door. It's a little faster. It sounds like an actual knock on the door rather than the knocker. And you all hear Malcolm open the door, and he says, "Good evening, Mr. Buckworth." And you hear another voice. "Good evening, Malcolm. I found 2 more people on the way over. Is everyone else here?" "Yes. Would you please come in?" And so if you peek out the door, you see a rather waterlogged man carrying a briefcase. He hands his coat to Malcolm and sort of brushes himself off and looks around. He's followed in by a woman with an umbrella who seems rather nicely dressed, an older, late middle-aged woman. She's wearing a dress. You can see she's got heels on, and she has an umbrella that's blocking the rain off a rather nice overcoat. Definitely not a raincoat. She's not dressed for the weather. And coming in behind her is a rather bedraggled man wearing a suit that, Teddy, you recognize as being one that doesn't fit him. It's worn through in places, and the only thing he seems to be carrying with him is a violin case. He doesn't have any other bags, and he's got a fedora on too. And so Malcolm takes their coats. The guy with the suit keeps his coat because he doesn't have a raincoat or anything else. He hangs up his hat, and all 3 of them come into the sitting room. The first one, the man with the briefcase, sets it down. "Oh, great. Okay, everyone's here. My name is William Buckworth. I am the lawyer. My firm is in charge of Mr. Burnwood's estates. I'm the one who sent the letter to all of you. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm sure you all have lots of questions about what's going on. We're going to get to all of that. But first, Malcolm here made us a nice warm dinner, which I don't know about you, but after that raining cats and dogs outside, I could really go for. So when we go eat, and then we'll get down to business afterwards. So you go from the sitting. He walks from the sitting room. There's a set of double doors in the back that opens up into a dining room. As you walk in, there's a long wooden table that looks like it could seat 12 or 18 people. It's this huge table, and the room is ringed with portraits of dour old men who are just glaring at you from the walls. As you look at them, you can see they all have little. They're in like ornate golden frames, and they all have little brass plaques at the bottom that have their different names. William Blackwood, Burnwood. Sorry. There's Ezekiel Burnwood. You can see the familial resemblance in all of them, and they're just kind of like they're all like very serious portraits glaring down at you. They all kind of have like the same nose and jawline, and so yeah, this seems to be the gallery of Burnwoods. So the lawyer sits at the head of the table. You could all take your seats. Once you all sit, Malcolm wheels in a cart that has a big bowl of soup on it, and he ladles out soup to all of you. And it's pretty good, especially it's nice and warm. It just warms you up. And then afterward, he comes back with a main course of Cornish game hens, which is just delectable for all of you. And so after about an hour of dinner, if there's any conversation you guys would like to make over the meal, feel free.
So,
No? Okay.
So any of you been here before? Lawyer, guy? I assume you've been here.
Once or twice. Honestly, Mr. Burnwood had his will drawn up quite a while ago. I only came in after his death 2 weeks ago. It's a fantastic estate.
Yeah, it's real interesting. So who's the ma'am? What's your deal? Lady?
Well, my name is Martha Valor. My father was in business with Mr. Burnwood, and it seems I have been named as a beneficiary of his will.
And there was another guy, right?
Yes, there's another guy. He's sitting at the far end. Oh, yeah. My name's Jimmy. Yeah, apparently, I don't know. I got the letter saying that I was named the beneficiary, and honestly, I could use the scratch. So here I am.
Yeah. Who can't? Okay, so we got like we got a whole party here. Is it like everybody gets an equal cut, or
The
Sure
lawyer.
that the lawyer is going to be giving us all those details in due time, but for the time being, I would prefer to have a pleasant meal.
Oh, I ain't never had a pleasant meal here.
Well, perhaps this might be your first time.
No, I mean the food is good. The food is always good. But you know, it's these guys watching us that you know, kind of creeps me out a little.
Yeah, all the portraits are also painted in that way where the eyes follow you no matter where you go. They're all just always staring at you.
Because of course they are.
Naturally, yeah. So after dinner, the lawyer sits back. Oh, Malcolm, perfection as always. Thank you, sir. He's like, well, why don't we go back to the sitting room and we'll have an aperitif and we can talk business, which is I'm sure what you all want to get down to. So he leads you all back into the sitting room. He goes over to that beverage cart and pours himself. He pours it in a brandy glass, so you're assuming it's brandy. He holds out the bottle. If anyone else wants to pour themselves a drink, you are more than welcome. And he sits down in a big plush armchair by the fire and he puts his drink down on a little side table, pulls his briefcase into his lap, opens it up, and pulls out a small thing of papers that are long legal papers. They're also browned on the edges. They seem very old. All right, is everyone comfortable? Great. All right. Well, let's get down to brass tacks. So I'll just go through the part of the will here first that I've been instructed to read. I, Jebediah Burnwood, being of sound mind and body, hereby declare that in the event of my death, all my worldly possessions will be left to whomever among the people listed below spends a night in my house without leaving. That's basically it. That's the stipulation. So obviously,
why would it be hard to?
I don't
Oh.
know. This document was drafted in 1947. So it's really just been handed down through lawyers at our firm for quite a long time. So obviously, it seems like all 6 of you are going to be beneficiaries of this will. Our firm is still working on cataloging everything in the house and getting everything appraised to find out the monetary value. That's going to take a few more weeks. So this is probably going to have to go into some sort of litigation or discussion. If the 6 of you can come to some sort of agreement amongst yourselves tonight, that would be wonderful. Or if one of you wants to leave during the middle of the night and make it a little easier for the rest of us, I mean, I won't stop you. But Mr. Burnwood's stipulation, while easy, is clear. If anyone leaves during the night, you forfeit any claim to anything in the will, anything in his estate.
Does that mean like we can't leave the house or we can't leave the grounds?
You can't leave the house.
Well, it's wet out there. I don't think we would wanna.
It's a pretty good night for staying in, if I do say so myself.
This is very irregular. Have you seen anything like this in your practice of law?
No. Especially these days. Every once in a while, someone comes in trying to be clever with their will, but we always tell them, don't do that, because it's really just a pain in the ass for everyone. Apparently, Mr. Burnwood either did not receive or did not heed that advice, or maybe they just did it differently back then.
But this is legal in your professional opinion?
It is legal, yes. It's signed, it's notarized, it's official. In cases like this, where the inheritance is unclear, it would have to go to, as I said, to litigation or negotiations to determine who is going to get what.
Yeah, you obviously never met the man. He he thought he had something real special here in his house, his completely normal house.
Yeah, well, it is definitely a very large and unique estate.
When you say litigation, I'm not sure I understand. Aren't you just going to liquidate everything, the house, and sell all the assets and just divide the money among us?
Well, that would be up to you. As beneficiaries, you would have to agree on that. If that's what you wanted to do, that's great. That's a lot easier. But if you all wanted to decide who gets the house or who gets some of the old cars in the garage or divide up the paintings, and that would be up to you as well. So that's why, as I said, it's probably litigation's probably the wrong word. There's going to have to be negotiations. If the 6 of you decide to just liquidate everything and divide up the money, we can do that very easily.
We're all reasonable people here. I'm sure we'll reach an easy agreement.
Well, great. He looks at his watch as well. It's just about 8:30 now. According to the will, I will be back at 9 a.m. in the morning. So you have 12 and a half hours to look around and take in the place and decide whether you want to keep it or get rid of it or do whatever you want. Any questions before we head out? Or before I head out? You're all staying here.
How come you're not staying here?
I have not been named a beneficiary in the will, so...
Well, but yeah, there's like a ton of rooms upstairs.
Well, the stipulation is that only the named beneficiaries should be staying in the house. So
does that include Jeeves?
Oh, well, yes, Malcolm will be staying. Malcolm has indicated that he would like to stay and work with whomever inherits the estate.
Oh, so he's like part of the deal.
Well, no, you can't inherit a person, but Malcolm will work for whoever gets the house.
All right, well, have a good drive. You just got here. Can I like look around the room and see if anything looks different from the last time I was here?
Sure. That would be a spot hidden roll.
No.
No. Was it a critical failure?
I
96 or higher.
no.
Okay.
I got an 87.
You look around. It seems the same. I mean, there's a lot of like little knickknacks and tchotchkes in here too. So you don't remember exactly where everything. Maybe that little statue of the bird moved, but maybe it didn't. It's
Right.
nothing that you can concretely say.
You know, if nobody else wants it, I'm gonna call dibs on just this. I'm just gonna pick one, just this little like figurine tchotchke. I want this one. Dibs. I want to put it in my pocket.
Okay.
Well, before you pocket anything, it needs to be appraised.
It's looks like a kid made it. It's nothing.
Do any of the rest of you have anything to say about someone already pocketing things without them going through the proper channels?
Yeah.
Does seem highly irregular.
Martha speaks up. Oh, well, no. I, for one, think that no one should take anything until everything in the house has been appraised.
I agree.
I would request that you kindly put that back, sir.
Just happy to get what I can get. I mean, this is all a little much for me. I didn't even know this guy.
I tell you what. When, we're all like still here in the morning, if I still got this in my pocket, we'll add it to the mix.
You won't still have it in your pocket because you're going to put it back where it was.
You're really going to be like that, huh?
Sir,
we're
I
all
believe
again.
the lawyer was clear that we are to divide the estate evenly, and I would just let everyone know that my intentions for my 1/6 share of this is to donate entirely to the church. So anything that you put in your pocket, you are taking out of the pockets of needy, hungry people in my parish.
Oh, so you want me to like put the silverware back too? Is what I'm hearing.
That would be nice.
Mr. Drider, perhaps we should wait until the morning to start divvying up the inheritance. It might just make everything a little easier for everyone.
All right, I'll take whatever I took off the table and the tchotchke, and I'll just toss them all on a shelf.
Great, thank you.
I give them all the stink eye.
That's fine. You don't have to roll for that.
Maybe the lawyer should stay.
Unfortunately, I cannot. It's part of the stipulation. Malcolm, however, is here. He is a neutral party. So if you have any problems, you can take them up with Malcolm, and he will be keeping track if anyone leaves during the night.
I'm going to sidle up to Malcolm and just sort of say in a low voice, Malcolm, keep your eye on that one, and point to Harvey.
Very good, sir.
I can see you pointing at me.
Yeah, Malcolm is now just staring at you. Not like angrily, like his face is still relaxed and slack. He's just staring right at you. The lawyer stands up. Well, okay, you all have fun. It's time for me to go. And he reaches into his suitcase and pulls out a big, heavy wrought iron key. And he puts the documents back, walks to the door, takes out, gets his hat and his coat. He says, well, I will be back bright and early at 9 a.m. I'll bring donuts and coffee too. Why not? Have a good night. He walks out. He closes the door, and you all. He puts the key in and turns it, and you all hear the loud thunk as the lock slides into place, and you are locked into the house.
So, Mal, what can you tell me about this place?
The house was constructed in the late 1700s, right after the Burnwood family came and settled in the area. It has been in the family for generations.
So, they're anything we need to know about this place? I mean, seems kind of like a weird situation. I mean,
Mr. Burnwood was an eccentric individual. He was known to do odd things.
what sort of odd things?
Mr. Burnwood was a practitioner of the dark arts.
Oh, I
I'll
always
spit out my
suspected.
drink back into the cup.
Well, I don't know.
And then Malcolm just turns and walks back into the kitchen, into the dining room to start cleaning up from dinner.
Oh, take these two.
He already took the silverware.
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I mean, I'm not spooked by any ghost stories, but
As soon as you say that, there's a crash of thunder, and the lights in the house all flicker and dim for a minute, and then come back up.
bad wiring.
That's the Lord having a little bit of fun with us. Obviously, God is not going to let anything bad befall his children in this house. But I did always suspect that my grandfather was into such devious arts.
So
Hey.
your grandfather was a devil worshiper, huh?
There's a large difference, and I ain't never known the Lord to like have fun with people. Don't think it says that in that book.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would. Would I have like a map that I've drawn of the house from the previous times I've been here to check it out?
Make a luck check.
Ye-
You got a crazy high luck.
Yeah, I got a 52.
Okay, yeah, you do. So unfortunately, I don't have an actual map to give you. I'm sorry. I'll describe the layout. So there's the large main room with the foyer that you all entered into. If you go to the right, there's a door that leads to the sitting room where you are. At the end of the foyer, there's another door on the right-hand side that leads to the dining room, which is also connected through the foyer. The kitchen connects to the end of the dining room, so you just cook the meal, you bring it right in. There's also servants' quarters that go back behind the kitchen that kind of come out under where the stairs are. There's two small rooms back there that would be servants' quarters. There is a in-ground staircase, like a trapdoor staircase you have to lift up that leads to the basement of the house in the kitchen. On the other side of the main room, on the left-hand side, there is the library, which takes up a big chunk of that side of the house. And at the other end of the library is the trophy room, which is filled with stuffed animals that Jebediah Burnwood and his ancestors have killed and mounted in the room. And then upstairs, that's basically all for the first floor. There's a bathroom down here too, under the stairs. On the second floor, there is the large door at the top of the stairs is there's the master bedroom. That was Jebediah's bedroom, and the other doors that up there are all guest bedrooms, and there's another bathroom up there as well. That's the basic layout of the house. Oh, and not the master bedroom. One of the guest bedroom, all the way at the far end of the hall up there, has a ladder that leads to an attic. It's not like a fancy attic. It's like a small crawl space attic. So that's the general layout that you know.
So anybody want to play Pachisi?
I'm gonna look around at the alcohol selections.
Sure.
Not that I know anything about them.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna grab a bottle of something. And
you're most of them seem to be in clear crystal decanters, so your options seem to either be brown or clear, because none of them have any labels. It seems like whoever put them there knew what they were all supposed to be, and none of them are labeled. But you grab a bottle of something and it smells good, so why not?
All right. So I take it and I kind of sit down, pour myself a drink, and just sitting there watching people. But I want to make sure that like my back is to the wall and I can see everybody.
Yeah, sure. You position yourself so that you have a good vantage of the whole room. Does anyone else want to do anything? Do you want to explore the house, or you can just go to bed if you want?
As
The
they,
Reverend is going to explore the books in the library.
Okay. So, Reverend, you walk across the main hall to the library. You turn the light on in there. It seems that the library goes all 2 floors. So the second floor isn't a full second floor. It's mainly over the servants' quarters and the other side of the house. So the library is 2 floors essentially. There's large floor-to-ceiling bookcases. There's 2 of those rolling ladders, so you can get up and see some of the books on the higher shelves. You do a quick scan. All the books in here are pretty old. You don't see anything that looks like it was printed before 1950. Uh, Lots of the titles, a lot of them seem to be kind of boring, history of Northern Ireland from 1786 to 1843. There's a lot of history books, some technical manuals, lots of biographies and autobiographies. It's a very eclectic and large collection. If you want, you can make a library use roll, which is your standard research, and in this case would be literally using a library if you want to find something a little more interesting.
Okay. I got a 28, which I'm just looking for my library use. Did not succeed.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what you find. None of the titles really catch your eye in particular. Um, there's another fireplace in here. That fireplace has not been lit, and there is a large pedestal in the room which has a big dictionary, like a big library dictionary, sitting atop it. That's the most notable book that you find.
Anything that looks like a family Bible?
No, you specifically do not find a Bible. Maybe it's up in his bedroom, but there's no Bible in the library. There are a few religious texts. They seem to deal mostly with Eastern and African religions. You might call them cults, but nothing, no Bible or anything like that. All right. Anyone else want to have a look around?
Just as a historian and hearing this about the former owner knowing the dark arts, thinking back, is there anything I know about the family and the family history?
Make a probably history roll. Yeah. They used to have like a local thing. Yeah, no, it's just history.
So I rolled a 7.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. So thinking back, you've done some reading. Once you got the notification about the will, you looked into the family a bit just to see who this guy was. The Burnwood family has been a staple of Massachusetts for centuries. It seems that their ancestors came over on the Mayflower. They weren't the Burnwoods then, but their family can trace their lineage back to the original settlers of Massachusetts. And they were gifted this land back in the mid 1700s, and then built their estate here when Arkham was just starting to become a city. And they have been living here, like Malcolm said, since the home was built. You don't know anything about any black magic. Like, there's no bad rumors about the family, but what you do know is that Jebediah, you found out he was born in the 1800s, like the mid 1800s. He was the last Burnwood to inhabit the house because he only just died, and so his kids never inherited it. All his kids are dead too.
So
It was old.
I'll start relaying all that trivia to the people in the room with me.
Yeah. So that's what you found out that was really odd, that he is either the papers you found were, because you had to go through like newspapers, you found like a birth announcement that was printed. So either that was wrong, or maybe there was another Jebediah and you found the wrong one, or this guy was pushing 200.
I mean, he was old.
And how is it that you knew him, Harvey?
I liked the house. Thought it was a pretty cool house. It's come up once or twice in my real serious investigations. So I've been here just a couple times.
And what is it you were investigating?
Things that normal people don't really know how to explain. Like, I'm not gonna call it like black magic and stuff. I mean, I could, because the god guy is gone. He's in another room. But yeah, just like paranormal stuff. Like
You're like a ghost hunter, like I see on TV.
You could call me that, but it's not like specifically correct.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, more of like a oh, that's a weird thing that happened. Let's go make sure it's actually weird and not just like bad wiring.
It's all interesting stuff. I do love to read about it, but it's all explainable by science, of course.
Yeah, all of it.
All right. So is there anything else you guys would like to do, or do you want to skip ahead a bit? I mean, if you just want to have some small talk and have a drink or two, you could do that. Or do you want to look around the house anymore?
I would like to make sure that I have a flashlight with me. Like, would I have known that it was raining and storming before I left to come here?
You explore creepy houses for a living, so I'll say sure, you have a flashlight.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. It's in one
It's
of my
not like a big
pockets.
cop mag light. It's like
No.
a regular, like little handheld flashlight. But yeah, you got a flashlight.
Okay. And I'm just going to stay in whichever room has the most people in it. I just, I'm going to keep an eye on them, because this house likes to play with people.
Yeah, I think for right now, it's probably still the sitting room. The Reverend wandered off to the library, it seems.
Yeah, that's on him.
Yeah. Everyone else still seems to be here in the sitting room. Speaking of, Reverend, would you be so kind as to make me a listen check?
Okay. Um, 11. It's actually it's a quarter success, whatever that 25% is, because my listen is 60.
Okay. Oh yeah. So just to so the skill values that you have, the big number is your main skill, and then it has those two little boxes next to it. One of them is a half skill value, and the other is a fifth value. So if you're trying to do something that's difficult, it might be you roll at a half. If it's something that's really difficult, you'd have to roll under a fifth of your skill. But for right, so if that is the situation, I will tell you. But for right now, the regular is fine. Reverend, you're still looking in the library. You pulled one of these books off the shelf, and you're just kind of flipping through it, and you hear a sound. It sounds like it's coming from behind the bookshelf. It sounds kind of like there's a scratching in the wall, and as your ears perk up, and you kind of tilt your head to listen, and it sounds like it's moving diagonally up the wall, and then it seems like it's heading towards the ceiling, and then you just kind of lose track of it.
Behind the bookshelves?
Yeah, well, you look, the bookshelves are flush with the wall, so
yeah.
In
but
the
the
wall,
sound
maybe?
from behind. Can I pull out some of the books and see if there's something like a rat hole somewhere that's been chewed? Because that sounds like rats in the walls.
Yeah. You pull off some of the books. No, it's a solid. Whatever this wood is, it's solid. You pull like a few shelves worth of books. You don't see any holes or anything.
Huh.
And the sound it fades, like it moves up the wall and then it's gone, and you don't hear it anymore.
Can I, do I know from having been in this house before, since it's my grandfather's, do I know what's directly above? Oh, you said the library is 2 stories, actually, right?
Yeah, there's nothing. There's roof above the library.
So it crawled all the way up to the roof, whatever it was.
It sounds like, yeah. Well, it crawled up to the ceiling. There's the attic. Technically, the attic is above the library too, but so it crawled up towards the ceiling, and then you couldn't hear it anymore.
Ugh. There must be rats in the attic.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
gonna have to tell Malcolm about that.
I mean, it's an old house. There's probably rats everywhere.
Can I do like a spot hidden to see if I see any mouse holes or rat holes anywhere else in the room?
You sure?
Okay. Oh, nearly critical fail. 96.
Oh. What'd you get?
96.
96 is a critical fail.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah.
yikes.
Luckily, you're just looking around, so.
And one of the bookcases falls on me.
Well, these are all anchored to the wall. If that fell on you, you're not going to die because you critically failed looking around. I'm not going to be that mean. You don't see anything. That's you look around and it's library.
I guess I'm gonna try and find Malcolm. Did I last see him in the sitting room with the others?
Well, as you left, he was heading into the dining room to clean up from dinner.
All right.
So if you head back that way, you hear the sound of him doing dishes in the kitchen.
I'd like to go and tell him about what I heard.
Sure. So you head back. Malcolm is there. There's a large sink. He has taken his jacket off and his sleeves are rolled up. His skin is pale. It looks like he has some scars on his arms too. And he is just slowly and methodically washing dishes as the steam rises up from the sink from the hot water. And he's just like slowly washing a dish and then sets it aside into the drying rack.
Excuse me, Malcolm. I'm so sorry to interrupt your work, but
Not at all, sir.
and thank you so much for such a lovely meal. But I just came to find you because I heard something really unsavory in the library. It seems like there may be rats. Are you aware of anything like that?
I have not seen any rats, sir, but it is possible. The house is very old. I shall put in a call to an exterminator in the morning.
Yeah, I think that would make sense because obviously if we are going to be selling the estate, then I'm sure all the beneficiaries don't want the price to decrease because of rats in the walls. It sounded like it crawled up to the attic. Have you been up there recently?
I have not been into the attic in many months, sir. Would you like me to check?
Don't disturb yourself from doing the dishes. Maybe I'll just have a peek up there later on.
Very good, sir. As he turns back to do the dishes, there's a lot of steam coming out of there. That water must be really hot. And he just grabs a dish and sticks it under and just starts washing it.
Well, take care of yourself, Malcolm. It seems like you've got a lot of scars there. Is that all from dishwashing?
No, sir. They are from various activities that Master Burnwood had me do.
Did any of those activities include catching rats?
No, sir.
That's a shame.
Very good, sir.
Okay. I think I'm gonna find the others.
Okay. As far as I know, they're all back in the sitting room. So you just walk back through the through the dining room, to the sitting room.
So what'd you find?
A lot
Any
of
good
books.
books? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good
It's a
books.
library, so
Yeah, but nothing nothing terribly interesting. It does seem like we might have a vermin problem, sadly.
that's a problem we can fix.
Yes, well, Malcolm did say he'd call an exterminator in the morning, so hopefully that will take care of it. But I hope that the rats that I heard haven't been chewing up any of the valuables.
Oh, I'm sure they're just chewing up yours. Under my breath. But loud enough so she can hear, but under my breath.
So the woman who came in later, Martha, stands up. Well, as entertaining as this all is, I think it is time for me to turn in. Have a good night, everyone. I shall see you in the morning. And she gets up and leaves the room, and you hear her walking upstairs. It's probably like
Yeah,
9
I think-
o'clock now.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go hit the hay too. And I put down the drink and I'm heading up to my room. Once I get up to my room, I'm gonna lock the door
Mhm.
and like set everything out, put everything away, make everything nice and neat,
Sure.
and I'm gonna take my gun and put it under my pillow.
Okay. So you pack all your clothes away. I would assume you leave your wet clothes out to dry though, because you don't want to fold those up and stick them in a drawer.
No.
Yeah. So there's a window in your room, and you could see the rain is just slamming against it. It's just filling your room with that sound of rain hitting glass. What are the rest of you going to do?
You mentioned there were some books in this room as well.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few books there if you want to. Are you looking for anything in particular?
No, I'm just gonna grab what looks like the driest possible book and take it with me as I go up to my room.
Oh, sure. It is really dry. You find something that is it's a history of the clerical processes as they evolved in Massachusetts from when the colony was founded until the mid 1800s. It talks about like the different types of shorthand that stenographers would use and how clerical notes in like city meetings differ from notes in courthouses. It is really dry.
So I'll bid goodnight to everyone. This book seems truly riveting. I imagine I'll be up all night reading it. But good night to you all, and I'll see you in the morning. I will head on up and start
You
reading.
may have accidentally discovered the best sleeping aid in the world.
Did like over dinner, did we ever figure out like why the Martha and Jimmy are here?
Yeah, they were also Martha said her grandfather had done business with Jebediah, and her grandfather was named in the will, but he's dead and her parents are dead, so she is the next in line to be the beneficiary. And it seems something similar for Jimmy as well. He's just the last surviving person of someone who was actually named in the will.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go back over to the figurine and I'm gonna put it in my pocket.
Reverend, you're still around, I think.
Oh, I thought I was gonna wait until the Reverend had
Okay.
gone to bed.
Well, the
I
Reverend
thought
is
he was gone.
The Reverend is intending to, on the way up to bed, try to find the master bedroom and just take a peek in the bookshelves or any desk or anything in there to see. But the Reverend still is looking for the family Bible.
Sure. Okay. So Reverend, you leave the sitting room. So it's just Harvey and Jimmy in there. And Jimmy says sets his violin case down and pulls it out. He's like, I'm just gonna play for a bit before I head up. And so you see he like puts it, and he's concentrating on that. So Harvey, you just take the little figure and stick it in your pocket. Reverend, you head up the stairs. The master bedroom has it's the larger door at the very top of the stairs, but when you get to it, the door is locked.
Is that usual, or would I think that's usual from my time in the house before?
Yeah, your grandfather wasn't keen on people snooping around in his stuff.
Well, he's dead now, so
He is.
can I find Malcolm to get him to unlock this door for me?
Certainly. You head back downstairs. It's only been a few minutes. Malcolm is just finishing up the dishes, and you see he's rolling his sleeves down. Oh, hello, sir.
Hello again, Malcolm. I'm sorry to bother you again, but would you mind unlocking my grandfather's master bedroom for me? I just wanted to take a quick look around.
Master Burnwood does not like other people walking around in his bedroom, sir.
Yes, Master Burnwood is dead, Malcolm, and we are his beneficiaries now, and we need to be able to catalog everything in the house for the lawyers.
Malcolm pauses, like he's thinking about this, and like this is sort of like a new concept. Very good, sir. I shall unlock the room for you.
Thank you.
And he starts walking out. He heads to the stairs, gets to the top of the stairs. He reaches into the pocket of his pants and pulls out a ring of keys. And he takes the key. It's another like heavy wrought iron key, and puts it in the lock and unlocks it for you.
Thank you so much. And is the attic also locked? Would you be so kind as to unlock that before you retire?
The attic is not locked, sir, but the ladder to the attic is in Mr. Jackson's room at the end of the hall.
Okay. So now that the door is unlocked, I'd like to go into the master bedroom.
Okay, so you open the door. It's dark in here right now, so you open the door, and just as you do, there's a flash of lightning outside, which briefly illuminates the room. You fumble around on the wall, and you find the light switch and turn it on. The lights flicker on. There's a large 4-poster bed against the wall. There's another bookcase in here, much smaller than the ones that were down the library. That is filled with a whole bunch of different books of different sizes. You can't really make them out. There's a roll-top desk in here as well, and then dresser, drawers, things like that.
Well, I want to check the bookcase first, and I guess the desk afterwards. And again, my goal is to try to find something like a family Bible or some kind of family sort of records, because this is actually my family, unlike everybody else in this house.
Right. All right, so that's I'll say spot hidden check this time, or library use, whichever is better.
Spot hidden is going to be better.
Yeah.
Oh, 64. Did not get it.
Okay. Oh, so one of the other things you can do, I'm sorry, is that you can push rolls. So if you fail a roll, you could try again. You can basically essentially push your luck and roll a second time. But if you fail on the second roll, there's a more dire consequence.
Well, obviously, I'm going to push the roll.
If you succeed, then you just succeed. But if you fail, then it could be bad.
Yeah, I give the bookcase and the desk a cursory glance, but I don't find anything, and that's just so unusual to me that I'm really going to dig in, and I'm going to start pulling things off the shelves and rattling the desk drawers and stuff. I'm determined to find something, so I'm going to push the roll.
All right.
Come on, RP bot, don't fail me. Yes, I succeed on the second one.
Great.
50.
Okay. So you take a quick glance, and now that can't be right. So you go back and you look harder. You don't find a Bible, which is it's very odd to you, especially how old the house is and how old the family is. But you're looking through the bookshelf, and you do see so all the books here, they don't have most of them anyway don't have titles on the spine. You do see one De Vries Mysterious, which you don't know if you can read, but most of them don't have titles on the spine. And as you pull one off, you flip through it and you see it's a handwritten journal. And you pull a few more off, and you see that most of the books on this shelf are handwritten journals, and some of them are quite old. And so you start flipping through these, and you realize that these are your grandfather's journals. You do find that, although you do not find a Bible.
Well, the journals seem like a pretty big score, so I'm happy with that. How many books are we talking about?
50, maybe more. Just at a quick glance. So it's like a 6-foot high shelf, and the shelves are basically filled, not like to bursting, but decently filled.
Okay.
And each journal is probably an inch. You can't like an inch thick.
I guess, for lack of any other guidance, I'm gonna maybe look for a journal that is around the time that I was a kid. I don't know. I'm gonna grab a couple journals, maybe if it's possible, aiming for some years that I would be alive, and maybe take them back to my room and just sort of flip through them before bed.
Yeah, sure. You grab some. You grab a selection of journals from the shelf, and then head back to your room. So, reading through the journals would probably be a library use check if you're looking to see what information you can find.
Yeah. Okay. Fail.
All right. So the page you would have to spend hours to actually read through all of these books. But the pages that you flip through, you do find dates for when you're alive. You find one for your birthday where your grandfather mentions that you were born. Is he your grandfather on your mother or your father's side?
Oh, I guess mother, since we don't share a last name.
Oh, that's true. You don't. Yeah. Okay. So he said, he mentions how you were born and he's happy. It's a pretty cursory journal entry, honestly, considering one of his grandchildren was born. Um, the other ones you flip through, there's a few references to your parents. As you get later on, the journals become a little more angry. He talks about how ungrateful they are and how they don't understand. There's a few that you see mention the work that he's doing, and that it's working, it's paying off. Um, it's all kind of coded. There's a few references to his notebook, which seems to be different from his journals in some sort of way. But that's all you really find. You would have to take the time to sit down and read them, which would take you all night.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very curious, but I'm going to make a mental note to look into that more later when I have time.
So Harvey, you're the only one left. Are you staying up or are you going to bed?
I am going to explore whichever part of the house he never let me look in before.
Okay. That would be his bedroom, which as you watch, you see the Reverend goes up there and looks around for a few minutes, and then comes out. So the Reverend comes out and then goes to his room and closes the door. So if you want now, you could go up to his bedroom if you want to go and take a look around.
Yeah, I would have waited until I was alone.
Sure.
In there.
So you head up to the bedroom. The door is still unlocked because Malcolm unlocked it. It's the same thing.
Thank you.
You see the bookshelf. When you go in there, there's a few books missing, and you just see the Reverend carrying a small handful of books when you go
That
in.
little don't take anything. We gotta write it all down. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay down in this bed because it always looks super comfy.
It is not.
It is not.
It is the worst, lumpiest mattress you have ever laid down on. It feels like this mattress is 100 years old. It's full. It's definitely not a spring mattress. It's probably full of feathers or some other kind of stuffing, and it's lumpy. And there's a big dip from the spot where he used to sleep all the time.
Oh, that's the best. You just curl up in your side, and you just
but he was a
dig
smaller
in.
man than you, so it just kind of
so it's
doesn't
just half
fit right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You lay down and you're like, oh no, this isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Do any of the lumps and bumps feel like maybe something other than mattress material?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not here.
When I'm
lumpy mattress.
Laying in the bed, what seems like the most important part of the room? What kind of stands out?
Make a spot hidden check.
Oh, I rolled a 6.
Okay.
I see everything.
Yeah. So you look around. The bookcase definitely seems important, and his roll top desk seems like it would be important too.
And does it look like the Reverend went through the desk?
Some of the drawers are open. The actual roll top part is still closed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just like try one more time to get comfortable, and it's just like, ugh, maybe it's because I'm still wearing my coat. I don't know.
That's probably it. Yeah.
Whatever. I will go and like sit at the desk and try to like put myself into the mind of the man, and like this is kind of like what I do is, you know, this guy was able to spend the night in the house so many times, like, you know, maybe I just got to be like in his
Right, so
brain,
you try to put yourself in that mindset.
and then the house will be okay with me.
You try to lift the roll, and the actual roll top is locked. You see, there's like a tiny little keyhole, and it's locked.
Oh, I'll feel around like underneath and in drawers and stuff, and if I can't find a little key, then I am going to pick that lock.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
going
you
to
don't.
attempt to pick the lock.
Yeah, no, you don't see anything. Locksmith would be the skill for that.
I think I have that.
I don't know if I gave you locksmith.
Well, I rolled an 80 and I have a 1% in locksmith.
So you think to yourself, oh, I could probably do this, and you like take your credit card out and try to jimmy it under, but it doesn't work. If you want, if you don't care about being subtle, you could just try to break the lock if you want.
Yeah, I'll just blame it on the Reverend.
All right, so that's going to be a strength check up at the top.
Okay.
Your strength score, you just got to roll at or under your strength.
Oh, this is no longer scrolling. There it is. Oh, so close. I rolled a 58 on a 50.
This must be made out of like some kind of superwood or something. You can't really get your fingers under there, and like, you just can't get the leverage you need to lift it up and break the lock, unfortunately.
I'm gonna punch it.
You do.
In frustration.
It hurts your hand more than it seems to hurt the desk. It must be lined with metal. That's it. It's wood clad. It's metal clad in wood. Whatever. That's got to be it.
Okay, and then you said the bookshelf.
Bookshelf, yeah. So same thing. If you go and you look at the books, you see it's mainly a whole bunch of diaries. If you want, you can make an occult check too. Yeah, occult.
Yeah, I will do that. I rolled a 16 on a 70.
Okay. So as I said, the majority of the books don't have any names on the spine. The few that do, you recognize as occult texts. Some of these are books about magic. These are very esoteric books that are not in print anymore. These would be very expensive volumes. There's not like the Necronomicon is sitting on his bookshelf. But there are a few books here that definitely scream dark arts to you.
Yeah, which isn't a huge surprise. But I'll go ahead and take those down and just give them a flip through, see if anything's stuck in the pages, and
you've nothing like that. Nothing falls out of them.
Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take those two and blame that on the Reverend as well.
Okay. All right, so you sneak out of the room with the books. As you do, the whole time you're up in the room, you could hear the soft violin playing downstairs as Jimmy was just playing a little bit of music,
creepy.
just a little creepy violin. And as you're walking out of the room, you still hear the music, and then you hear the bow like goes over the strings, and and music stops. And it's just silent.
In my normal voice, not calling out and making a lot of noise, I'm gonna say, Malcolm. Hey, Malcolm.
A listen check from Malcolm.
Hey.
And well, Malcolm might not be able to hear you. Where's my dice? There we go. Malcolm. Yeah. Okay. So you're just sitting at the top of the stairs, Malcolm, and then a few seconds later, he walks out from what would be the dining room. He just stands and looks up at you. Yes, sir.
Oh, hey. I was enjoying the violin music, but he stopped. Do you think we could like get him to play just a little more? And I'm hiding, like I'm not gonna show him that I have an armful of books.
Yeah. I shall go ask, sir.
Yeah, thanks. You're the best, Malcolm.
He walks across and goes and walks into the sitting room, and then comes back out a second later. Mr. Jackson is dead, sir. I do not believe he could play anymore.
Oh yeah, that's likely.
Make a sanity roll.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
59.
That succeed?
I don't know. My current sanity is empty.
What's your current sanity?
It is an empty box.
Oh, that's
weird. Is
weird.
it the two little ones next to it?
Oh yeah. The one on the left, the smaller number, is what your current sanity is.
Okay, I am at 80, so I
you're good. Yeah. So you don't lose anything yet. And so he's according to Malcolm, he's dead.
Like heart attack or
It seems that he has been rent in half, sir.
Okay, that's not natural causes. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, ROUSs. I'm gonna go ahead and do you think we should like leave him there for mourning, or like keep everybody up and like tell everyone, be like, hey, that guy's, don't expect him I'm gonna go get the rest of the people. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the people.
Very
and
good, sir.
don't touch anything.
Very good, sir.
Like
Malcolm just like puts his hands behind his back and stands in the middle of the foyer.
Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe like turn and face the body and just make sure it doesn't like get back up. They don't get back up.
Malcolm walks to the doorway of the sitting room and just stands there staring into the room.
You're the best.
Thank
Malcolm.
you,
Okay, so I'm gonna go to my room first and I'm gonna put the stuff that I took.
Easy.
Like hide it in my bag or something. And then I'm gonna like do that as quickly as possible, and then I'm gonna knock on the doors and be like, hey, let's go see what surprise Malcolm's got for us. It's after dinner mints.
Okay. Martha just said, "Oh, I don't care," and closes the door and goes back to bed.
Martha, there's a dead guy.
You don't get an answer from her.
Okay.
So are you telling us that there's a dead guy?
Just if you don't believe me about the after dinner mints.
Yeah, I wouldn't get up for after dinner mints.
Okay,
if you tell me there's a dead guy.
Hey, I'll just stand in the hallway and scream.
Okay.
Hey! Everybody get out here. The guy that was alone downstairs is two people now. Two dead people. He got cut in half.
So Teddy's gonna grab his gun. He always takes his gun with him, and he's gonna rush out the door, like what, and then run to the room.
All right.
That guy downstairs.
The Reverend comes out wearing striped flannel pajamas, and I'm gonna go downstairs and I guess see if I can help.
Yeah, I'll come out still holding the book and thinking this is maybe just a joke. I'll slowly walk downstairs.
All right. So is everyone going downstairs? Harvey, you heading downstairs too?
Yeah. Is Martha gonna come?
Martha is not coming. Martha's staying in her room, it seems.
Just bang on her door one more time.
All right. She opens the door again. What?
Listen, look at me in the eyes. All right.
She's
the guy that was in the car with you, Jimmy. He's now Jim and me. He's two halves of one person. He got ripped in half in the middle of his violin music.
What are you talking? She like pushes past you and huffs and starts walking down the stairs. So all of you now get to make sanity checks.
Do I do another one?
Yes. This is much different.
I'm okay.
Oh, fail.
Okay.
The Reverend failed his sanity check.
looked like Teddy did not have a good roll based on
Yeah,
camera.
I got a critical fail.
Critical fail. Okay, so critical fails for this, you just take max sand loss. So Teddy, you succeeded, so you lose 1 sanity.
No, I
Reverend-
didn't.
Anything, just
Sorry, what was that?
Teddy got a 98.
Get to you in 1 second, Teddy. Reverend, you lose 4 sanity. Professor, how did you do? Professor, you're muted if you're talking.
hello.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. So I have 2 numbers next to the sanity box. One says 60, one says 99.
Yeah, so 60 is the number that you're going for. I don't know
Okay.
why 99 is everyone's like maximum possible sanity. No one has a sanity of 99. I don't know why they put that there. So the 60 is your
I
target.
got a 64.
60. Okay, so you lose 2 sanity. Teddy, you take 6. Oh no, sorry, 5. I'm sorry, you lose 5. Which is just enough. If you lose 5 or more sanity at once, you get a temporary insanity effect. So now I'll describe the scene, and then you can figure out what you're going to do, Teddy. So you all of you rush into the room and stand in the doorway. Malcolm moves out of the way. You run into the room, and the sitting room is covered in blood. There's a pool of blood on the floor. It's splashed up the wall. You see the legs of Jimmy, and that's it. There's no more torso. But the violin, the strings are all snapped, and it's lying in the slowly spreading pool of blood on the floor. It is a horrible scene. Martha screams. Oh yeah, how much sanity does Martha take? That's a good question. Because Martha fails, and so she takes 3. Okay. She just screams and runs away, so she doesn't have to look at it. So Teddy, your indefinite insanity, you have 3 options. You can fight, which you just attack something. There's flight, where you run away, and there's freeze, where you just shut down for a few minutes. You just go catatonic for a bit. So I'll let you pick.
So I think Teddy sees the scene, immediately flashes back to war,
Yep.
Turns around and just pulls his gun on everybody, points it at everybody, and says, "What's going on here? Let me out of here right now. You guys, this is crazy."
Okay. So compounding a bad situation, this guy just pulls a gun on all of you.
I'm gonna duck behind somebody else.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna be helpful.
Back away. Back away.
The Reverend is going to try to use a persuade skill to talk Teddy down into putting the gun.
Okay.
But Teddy, this is awful for all of us. We are going to get to the bottom of it. We are going to figure it out. I told you there were rats in this house. But for now, just put the
Rats
gun down.
don't do this.
Okay, but you're not going to make it any better, Teddy. Please put the gun down. We'll figure it out together, okay?
So you could use persuade, or you can use psychology. Whichever, I'll let you use whichever one is better for you.
My persuade is better.
Okay.
Oh gosh, 91. I failed.
Okay, not a critical failure.
Nope.
But Teddy, whatever snapped in Teddy's head, that your words aren't helping right now.
Everybody,
So
get
Teddy,
back. Get back now. Get back. Stay away.
Malcolm comes up and says, "Please put down the gun, sir.
Let me out of here, Malcolm."
The door is locked, sir. I do not have the key to open it."
You can like go back up to your room or something. I wanted to see if anybody else was covered in blood, because then that would be like one of us, and then it could be like, oh, it's not paranormal. It's just like that person's a lot stronger than I thought they was, and ripped this guy in half. but obviously wasn't one of us.
Teddy's gonna like start moving towards the front door.
Okay.
And if anybody gets near him, he is going to try and smack him with the pistol.
All right. It's up to you. Is anyone getting near him?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Hell no.
So Teddy, you get to the front door. You reach. The knob is locked. However, there are two windows next to the door. If you wanted to.
Well, I don't think Teddy's in his right mind, so at first he's going to try and kick the door open.
Yeah, you kick the door. It doesn't budge. It is solid.
He turns the gun towards I forgot his name, but Malcolm. He turns the gun to Malcolm. Let me out! Let me out right now!
I can't open the door, sir. There's nothing I can do.
Okay, then I'm going to try and break a window.
Okay.
Isn't the whole point of this will that like people can leave and therefore taking themselves out of the will? So why are you preventing Teddy from leaving?
It's not I, ma'am. I do not have the ability to open the door. And so Teddy, you take the butt of your gun and you just smash the window next to the door. As soon as you do, the wind from the storm blows in, and you manage to break enough glass out of the way that you can just sort of jump through if you want. So make a dodge check, Teddy, to try to get through the window without cutting yourself on the glass.
Nope, that's a failure.
That's a failure. Okay, so not going to be too bad. Maybe. Okay, you take 1 point of damage. So your current HP goes down by 1.
Okay.
The number to the right of the box is your max HP, so 1 less than whatever that is. So the rest of you watch as Teddy, freaking out, just jumps through the window. And then you all hear the sound of shattering glass from upstairs. Teddy, make another sand check.
Okay. Outstanding. 46, I believe. Oh, man. Because of the sanity I lost, that's a failure. Can I use luck points to...
No, it's not. They're not points. It's like if you have to make a luck check, it's another stats. You can't push a sanity roll, unfortunately.
Yeah,
either.
so I failed it by 1.
Okay, so you take 2 more, you lose 2 more points of sanity, which doesn't cause another temporary insanity effect. But so you're from your point of view, you're looking out this window. You could see the porch outside. The rain is whipping down on it. You could feel the wind on your face. You run, you jump through the window. You feel your arm get cut on one of the shards of glass that you missed. And then you're crashing through another window, and you look around and you're in a bedroom. And you look behind you, and there's a shattered window, and the wind is blowing the blinds in, and water splattering in. But there's no one else in the room.
What's going on?
It looks kind of like your room. It's the same size, but it's not the room you were in. So the 3 of you downstairs hear shattering upstairs, and then Teddy, what's going on?
Malcolm, where's the telephone? We need to call the police.
The telephone is in the sitting room, sir.
Isn't that where we are?
Yeah, where the body is.
Yeah. Does it sound like to anybody else like maybe Teddy is upstairs instead of outside?
I will go check on him.
Okay.
Reverend's gonna go.
He's got a gun.
Well, maybe I can reason with him.
Okay. Well, there's 2 down.
Reverend, be careful.
So, Reverend, you go upstairs. The sound of the glass, it sounded like it came from Harvey's room. And you go and you open the door, and you see Teddy like lying in a shattered bunch of glass on the floor. Teddy, you're starting to calm down a bit now.
Okay.
You're coming down from it. You're still
I
very
stand up
confused.
and I'm like, What's going on? What have you done? What have all of you done? What is going on here?
Teddy, my son, please take a deep breath, put the gun down. We're going to figure this out. How did you end up here?
I don't know. I jumped out the front door window and I ended up here.
Well, that is physically impossible. So is it possible that you, and just hear me out here, is it possible that you blacked out and maybe climbed a vine outside, or is there a trellis? Like maybe that's what happened. And I want to go and look out the window that he smashed through.
All right, yeah, you look out the window. There's no vine, there's no trellis. It's just flat siding on the house. So make a sanity check, Reverend.
Maybe it was God.
You know what they say,
Open
when
the
God
spirit-
closes a door, he opens a window.
Oh goodness. I succeeded my sanity check.
Okay, so you don't lose anything. The trellis must have fallen. Yeah, that's it. It fell, and you just can't see it because it's dark and stormy out. Yeah, that's it.
I've heard of people in extreme circumstances get big bursts of adrenaline, so maybe he just climbed the wall like Spider-Man.
Exactly, or maybe he's on drugs. I mean, you never know.
So can I look at Teddy and see if he is still pointing a gun at me?
Teddy, are you? Okay, yes. Teddy is nodding an emphatic yes.
Teddy, why don't we all in the library? That's a quiet place. Wait, I'm sorry. The sitting room is where the body is, right?
Yes, the sitting room is where the body is.
All right. Why don't we all just go and sit down in the library? I'll pour you a nice snifter of brandy, and we can all just figure it out. I think that Harvey was going to try to call the police, so help will be here soon.
I'm keeping an eye on all of you.
Of
I'm
course.
gonna go ahead but he needs to stay in front of me. Like,
sure.
No.
All right. So while that's happening, the other two of you are downstairs with the body. What are you doing?
I'm trying to call the police.
Okay. So Professor, you look around. You do see a telephone in the corner. It's sitting on a small table. It's an old black, ancient-looking rotary phone. It's only like half covered in blood, so it's still good. You have to step over some of the blood splatter on the floor.
If it's that covered in blood, I'm going to Malcolm. I think it was going to be necessary for you to call the police.
Very good, sir. I shall go call the police. And you see Malcolm just walks into the room. He just trudges through the blood. He doesn't care at all. Just picks up the receiver, and then like hits the lever a few times. The phone seems to be down, sir. That happens often during storms in this area. And he just hangs up. And then the lightning, there's another flash of lightning and a bolt of thunder, and then the power goes out.
I would have been like hunched over or like squatted next to what's left of the body, just looking.
Okay, so before that, before the power goes out, make a spot hidden check on the body, or if you do not, the doctor has biology. Yeah, so spot hidden.
I rolled a 99.
Okay, that's a crit failure.
Yes, it is.
Lose another point of sanity, because you get down, and you're not a forensic person. You've seen CSI. You've also seen nature documentaries, and this body does not seem like it was cut. It definitely seems like it was torn. So
rent asunder.
Very much so. Yes. So he is not looking too great. Whatever did this was definitely strong.
Do I like? Can I? Is that like any sort of demon could have done it, or like can I narrow it down in my mind of the things that I've
with
studied?
a crit failure?
No.
Like everything could have done it. Like,
I just know it wasn't me.
It was not you. That you know. Other than that, I mean, you could think of like a dozen things off the top of your head that you've heard of that could do something like this.
And so is it like, can we still see both parts of his body, or is like his
No, there's
torso
no. The torso's
exploded?
gone.
Like dragged away, or like
You don't see it.
cool.
Yeah, you've got legs and a whole bunch of blood. If you want, you can make another spot hidden to look around the room.
Yeah, just to see if like there's like hair or a shirt, or that's a 97.
Okay. No, you don't see
it.
anything.
He's just legs now.
Yeah, and you get distracted because you accidentally slip and your hand lands in the blood, and it's all over, and then you just kind of freak out.
Okay, I'm wiping that on the couch.
Yeah, so you instead of looking around, you're just freaking out about that. And then there's a crash of thunder and the lights go out. So we're gonna take a little break. If that's okay, I think David would have to do a thing for that. Great, yeah. So we'll take a little break, and we will be back in a minute. Okay. So, when we left off, one of your number had a run-in with something and just wasn't feeling like his full self anymore. The phone is dead. Teddy is having a bit of a bad time. The Reverend is leading him downstairs as suddenly there's a crash of thunder and all the lights in the house go out. There's wind blowing in through the broken front door, and every once in a while there's a flash of lightning which illuminates things. But for the most part, you're all in the dark for right now. So making a bad situation worse.
I would like to make sure that my flashlight works.
Yep, you pull out your flashlight and click it on, and yeah, it's working fine.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna annoyingly shine it in everybody's faces.
Everyone is thrilled by it.
Okay, we got everybody. Almost every.
Didn't,
Wait a second.
the
Teddy,
Reverend and Teddy went to the library. Did we make it there
Oh, they
before
did.
the lights went out?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you made it to the library, and then the lights go out.
Or well, at
Can-
least he can't hit me in the dark now with that gun.
Oh, he can certainly try.
I think as soon as the lights go out, like I think I kind of calmed down a little bit, sat down.
Yeah.
Was taking a drink from the Reverend, and then as soon as the lights go out, I just drop the glass, jump up, and pull the gun out again. I'm like, "What's going on?"
All right, Reverend, you don't see anything, Reverend. You just hear a glass breaking, and you hear Teddy jump up and yell again.
Well, mark that off of the ledger sheet.
Teddy, it's just an electrical storm. I'm sure that, Malcolm is going to get the lights on very soon. I know you have that gun. Put it down. And then after I stop talking, I'm going to really quietly try to walk to a different area of the room. So if he tries to shoot at where my voice just was, I won't be there anymore.
So make a stealth check then.
Oh, this is going to go badly for me.
Just for question, is this a
Fail.
revolver?
I'm sorry. What's it? What'd you do, Rep?
I failed.
Crit fail or just regular fail?
No, well, 94. You said 95 and up is crit fail,
90,
right?
96 and up.
Oh, the RP bot gods hate me, I think.
Yeah, sometimes those Discord rollers are pretty mean. So Teddy, no, it's a magazine-fed pistol.
Okay, so how many
like a
rounds
9mm.
do I have?
Probably 11.
Okay. All right, just wondering.
Yep. Reverend, you start to just slowly back away, and you try to quietly make your way to another spot in the room, but every step you take, the floor just squeaks under you. It's very obvious where you are.
Sigh. While it's dark and everything, can I maybe just give a quick listen to see if I hear those rats? Because we're back in the library again.
Yeah, sure. Make another listen check.
51 is a success.
Yeah. You cock your head and listen. You don't hear anything. On the other side, I should mention you're not totally in the dark. There is the fire in the sitting room, which is still going, which is giving off light in that area, so you could still kind of see in there.
Mr. Books, Professor. Malcolm.
Yes.
Did Martha go back up?
Martha's standing in the main foyer, just kind of pacing back and forth and muttering to herself and having a panic attack.
Let's let's go to the not this room, because
I agree.
it's gross.
Okay. So there's the living room, the kitchen, the library, and the trophy room.
I would want to go back to where, I know he's got a gun, but I have a flashlight, so we're evenly matched. But
yeah.
let's try and keep everybody together. He was alone is the one thing that we do know. When he became not him.
Now, how alone was he, though? The logical explanation here is one of these 6 people wants to inherit more.
Yeah.
I think we need to be very careful about who we trust.
Logically, let's all go into the same room, and look at each other and see if anybody else is covered in Jimmy, which they're not. And they would have been because I heard I was upstairs in the hallway. Let's go into the library.
So you discovered him, and I see you have some blood on your hand there.
No, I heard it happen, and then the butler came and looked and said, "Oh, he's dead." Just I don't want to say it twice. Everybody into one room, please.
I agree. I don't want to be alone here with you. Let's get everyone together.
All right, so you
I'm going to take offense to that tomorrow.
With your flashlight, you see Teddy standing in front of a chair. There's a broken glass at his feet. He's got his gun out again. The Reverend has backed himself a bit away and is standing against a bookshelf.
Okay, Teddy?
I don't know any of you.
You can keep the gun out, just maybe point it at the floor. And we'll all stay far enough away from you that we wouldn't be able to stop you from shooting us. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, good.
Stay over there, though.
I am going to stay so far away from you. Okay, so here's what I know. I was upstairs in the hallway, headed to my room. I was listening to the violin music, which now I think we can say he wasn't all that great. And then it stopped. It went like, eek! And there was like a sound and no more music. So I was like, "Hey, Malcolm, go and look." And I was upstairs the whole time. And then Malcolm came out from the other room. And he looked into the newly repainted room and he was like, "Oh, this guy's dead. He's in two."
Is Malcolm in here with us?
Yeah, he followed you in.
And then I came and I knocked on all your doors and we all came down here together. So I know it wasn't any of us because we was all upstairs and Malcolm, he don't got emotions. So and he's not covered in blood.
Well, Malcolm, is there anyone else in the house?
There are no other people in the house, sir.
Is there any other beings in the house? Malcolm, you gotta tell me. We're like this.
I do believe there is another creature in the house, sir.
Yeah, okay, that would have been good to know. What
You mean aside from the rats, or do you mean the rats?
I do not know about any rats, sir.
I don't think anybody's talking about
I told you about the rats.
It's not. I don't.
There's
rats.
I do not.
Maybe
know for
Jimmy
certain
had
there are
food
rats.
in his pockets or something, and they just got excited.
What city are you from where the rats can eat half a man and half a second because they got some Cheez-Its in their pockets?
Might have been a lot of rats.
Okay. And you saw some rat blood footprints, yeah? No, you didn't. I don't think it's rats.
Maybe it's bats, and that's why there's no footprints.
Maybe it's God.
So who called the cops?
The
Phone is dead, sir.
Not working.
Convenient.
That's super convenient. And now the lights ain't working. So anybody got a old-fashioned like torch? Or am I the
Would you
only
like
one?
me to head to the basement and see if I can get the lights working?
Yeah.
Yes, Malcolm, that would be good. Thank you very much.
Yes. Do you?
Oh, very welcome.
You okay?
Malcolm just turns and walks away.
He's not scared of nothing. Okay. So
Right.
You said there's a fireplace in there, right?
Yes, but it's not going right now. The
Alright,
fire in the sitting room is lit. The fireplace in the library is cold.
Is there the stuff to start a fire here? Or?
Yeah, sure. You can get a fire going.
All right. I'm gonna carefully walk over there, watching them. I'm gonna set the gun right next to me and start a fire.
All right. Yeah. Takes you a few minutes, but you get a fire going in the fireplace. Around that time,
we got a Boy Scout.
Around that time, the lights flicker back on.
You see, Teddy, I told you it was all going to work out. God works in mysterious ways.
God works in a mysterious ways, tears somebody up like that.
The butler just turned the lights. He just flipped the breaker. That's not God.
God sent us the butler to take care of us.
Did God send us to half a Jimmy?
No, that was the rats.
From what I understand, there seems to be a vicious dog of some sort that Mr. Burnwood kept. We should ask Malcolm about that more.
Yeah, because we all heard the barking.
Well, do you have a better explanation then?
Yeah, it's something paranormal. You ain't never heard of it, but maybe I have. It's my job, you know.
I happen to have several doctorates, and I've never heard of such a thing.
List them.
You know, I'm not going to engage in this debate with you. There's clearly a wild dog at loose.
Oh, Malcolm, you hear Malcolm trudging back up, and he comes into the room.
Who's going to explain the window? Who's going to explain the window?
Yeah, that's a good question. How come you was upstairs? You jumped out the window.
I don't
the
know.
Downstairs window.
I don't know. And this is not okay. All right. So just let me out of here and everything will be fine.
I cannot open the door, sir.
You can have my share of this inheritance. I don't care. I'll go back to work. Everything will be fine. Just let me out of here.
I'm only going to say this once, Teddy. You tried to leave, and the house said no. It's not one of us. Do you think one of us has portals? I don't think so. I think the house.
Don't be
He's in
ridiculous. The
I
house
was not
is
talking
in
to you.
charge. No, but I just got Teddy calmed down, and you're going to get him worked up again, please.
I'm explaining the science, Professor. You got to back me up here. The house is in charge of tonight.
I'm
Teddy
not
was
seeing
in
the house in charge. I'm sorry.
Teddy was in an altered state of mind. He probably blacked out, and his extreme stress caused him to scale the wall and jump into the upstairs window.
And then loudly, I'm going to say, I, for one, welcome our new house overlords.
Martha, who's been pacing back and forth, says, I can't take this anymore. And she runs back into the foyer and into the bathroom and slams the door shut and locks it behind her.
Okay, well, I would like to not be alone.
Well, the four of you are still in the library.
Yeah, like she's alone. She probably listen for the sploosh, not like the toilet. Usually I'm talking about the toilet, not the toilet. Can I just can I look for a book about like paranormal for dummies?
I will tell you, you don't have to roll for it. There's nothing like that in this library. All the books in the library seem to be rather plain. You would think if there was anything like that, it might be upstairs in his bedroom.
Anything about raising wild animals?
Make a library use check.
I'm going to start telling anybody, hey, one of you go through the window. All right? One of you go through the window, and when you reappear, you'll know I didn't black out.
I have a pass on my library check.
You do find a few old books about animal husbandry. There's a few texts also about hunting and how to train hounds to be hunting companions, things like that.
Has the professor shared his wild animal theory with everybody? Because I'm not sure the Reverend was in the room when that conversation was happening.
I mean, he was just talking about the hound.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it when you were here.
So I'm going to tell the professor, hey, I found a whole bunch of my grandfather's journals in his room. Maybe if you're looking for something about a hound, we could go up there.
If there are other books, I see a few things here, ancient tomes about animal husbandry and the like, but maybe there's something more specific, journals perhaps, about what sort of creature your grandfather was raising.
Yeah, we should go back up to his room and check the journals. There's a lot of them, I'll just warn you, but they seem to be organized a little bit by date, so perhaps we could find some recent ones.
Okay, Teddy, would you like to guide us from behind with your gun pointed at the floor? So we all go up to the room together. Please.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
You lead the way, Harvey. You got the light.
Well, the lights are back on now.
Oh yeah.
For now. So the four of you very awkwardly make your way back upstairs and into the master bedroom. There is the large bookshelf again, and all the journals that are there. You look through them, and the most recent one you can find seems to stop about a year ago.
It looks like there's some books missing. Anybody else got any books? Or maybe like anybody got the key to this desk? That's where I would keep the one I was working on.
I took some journals earlier this evening, but Harvey, how would you know that desk requires a key if you hadn't already been in here?
Because I was standing here and I tried to move it up while you was out looking at the books. So you were taking things for yourself.
My grandfather's
from
journal
the house
entries about
without writing them down on the ledger is what she was doing.
This is ridiculous.
Would you care to hazard a guess as to how much a journal might cost? I would gladly throw in an extra 10 cents for these notebooks.
It depends on how much what's written in them. We don't know, do we? I think we should all read them before you get to take anything.
I'm
going to force
I'll
open
go get the journals.
All right, make a strength check, Teddy.
All right.
Go get the journals.
That is a success, I believe. Yep.
Okay.
Success.
All right. So the Reverend and Harvey are arguing about the journals, and Teddy just sighs. And you walk over to the desk and you try it, and you also can't get your fingers in there. Like it's a really tight seal, and you take the butt of your gun and just slam it against the lock, and it breaks, and you just lift the rolled up. And yeah, there's a few other papers, and there is another journal laid out on the desk.
I grab the journal before anybody can, and I open it up.
Can you read? Would you like to read it to us, please? The final page, maybe? I don't know. Start at the end. That's where I stop books.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try to leaf through it and see if anything jumps out.
Yeah, so it's definitely much more recent. It seems to go from where that last journal ended. The very last entry seems to be a day or two before Burnwood died. So this was his last journal. There's a few mentions inside about most of it's pretty banal. You do see there's some mentionings about he's getting the supplies together for the ritual. And that he has everything he needs, and this will be his greatest success yet once he can bind it. It seems kind of weird.
I'm going to look at it and like having an inkling of what it's about, I'm going to hand it to Harvey. So what does this mean?
You can make I was about to say supernatural, occult check.
Fantastic. No, I failed. 79.
It seems like he's trying to summon something, but this isn't his instruction book. This is like he's just talking about it in generic terms.
Okay.
While she's going through the book, I'm gonna search the rest of the desk.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep looking through the book, just see if he mentions any like of the ingredients or like where he was doing it. Just any sort of
He
I'll
makes
go back
he makes mention of gathering everything in his laboratory. That's the only thing that you notice. There's no
Yeah.
mention of like specific ingredients or anything.
Do I know where the laboratory is?
Nope.
Cool.
Are the
So
rest
Teddy,
of the people privy to this conversation, or is this a private Harvey and Teddy conversation?
you're all in the
No,
room. Are you?
Yeah.
everybody.
I'm
I'm
saying it
not
out
sure.
loud.
So do I know where the laboratory is?
Oh,
Probably not.
you've never heard of a laboratory. I mean, you've heard of a laboratory. You've never heard of your grandfather having a laboratory in his house.
So we haven't checked the attic or the basement yet.
No, and you also have not been to the trophy room.
Now, we think this is some sort of code for purchasing an exotic animal, perhaps?
Could be.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. So, okay, let's back up a second. Reverend. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think there's rats? Did you see one?
I heard scurrying in the walls in the library, and it was in the walls behind the bookshelves, and I heard scratching and scurrying from basically the floor up to the ceiling. So my best guess was that there might have been a rat's nest in the attic. Although
okay.
having said that out loud, maybe it's squirrels if it's the attic.
It could be. You never know. Maybe it's a raccoon family.
The raccoons are probably too big to crawl through the walls, but I suppose
some of these old houses, they got lots of room between the walls.
Let's go check the attic and see what creature is up there.
One more question. Was it an inside wall or an outside wall?
It was an exterior wall.
It was an outside.
Okay, so like it could have been on the outside of the house?
I don't think so. I think these walls are pretty well insulated. They built the houses like this very sturdily back in the day.
Okay. Does anybody else get an idea? Please. Anybody else with okay. Let's go up to the attic, see what the squirrels is doing.
Okay. So one of you, the Reverend, you were told, Malcolm told you before that the ladder up to the attic was in what was Jimmy's room at the end of the hall. So you go back out to the second floor landing, all the way down to the very last room. You open the door. There's nothing in there. Jimmy didn't have any bags with him. You see the bed. It looks pretty much laid out, pretty much the same as all your other rooms, except his in the corner. So he has two windows because he has two exterior walls here. And you could see in the ceiling there is a trapdoor for the attic with a little string hanging down.
I'm just going to quickly peek out the window and see if there's a trellis or some kind of vines or something on the outside of those.
No, not that you see. There's a bit of ivy, but that's not enough to climb on.
All right, well, let's pull this trapdoor down.
Okay. You pull the trapdoor down.
Anyone find it strange that he came for an overnight without any bags?
This whole thing is strange. I don't trust any of you.
It's not the strangest thing I've seen tonight.
Fair.
So speaking of trust, who is going up the ladder? It's only big enough for one person. It's
the
not
Reverend
a wide.
Exterminator.
All right, if you insist, then give me your flashlight.
I don't have a flashlight.
Wait, what? Who has the flashlight?
I mean, Harvey had the flashlight.
Right.
Harvey, give him the flashlight.
So whoever has the flashlight is going to be first up the stairs, Harvey. The ladder. So it's your choice.
I don't understand why you can't just turn on the light up there when you get there.
There is no light up in the attic.
Are you scared? We don't know that.
Oh,
are you scared of squirrels?
All right. Well, the Reverend is just going to sigh and sit on the bed and cross his arms and just sort of silently mutter a prayer to God to deliver him from these idiots.
Okay. So
I am just
ladder's open.
Lean against the wall can do the same. Every second we stand here doing nothing
Harvey.
is another second closer to 9 a.m.
Harvey, give me the flashlight.
That's not going to happen.
I point the gun at you.
Just not going to happen.
To break the tension,
then go up the stairs.
The tension breaks when you hear a scream from downstairs.
Oh, no, it sounds like Martha maybe was attacked by something when she was alone.
I'm going to rush down there.
Okay, you run down the stairs. There's a second scream. You can tell it's coming from the bathroom, and then it's cut off. And you get to the door. If you try to open it, the door is locked.
Okay, I'm going to try and kick it in.
Another strength check.
The Reverend is coming behind, but leaving Teddy plenty of respectful space to let him work.
And me as well.
And
Oh,
I
that's a
will not be
success.
alone in a room, so I am following the rest of them.
Okay, I'm sorry, Teddy. You got a success?
Yeah, success.
Okay. So you take a step back and you kick the door open. And you saw the bathroom before. It was a white tiled bathroom. It was pretty nice. There's a clawfoot tub in there. Everything was pretty much white. Now everything's just red. There's just blood everywhere. It looks worse than the sitting room, probably because it's smaller. Everything is a lot more contained. Everyone make sand checks.
Oh, yes.
Reverend passed.
Okay.
I've got a crit fail.
Oh, thank you, Professor.
I passed.
Passed. Teddy?
Oh, I passed.
Okay, so the three of you who passed.
Hold on. What did you roll, Professor?
I rolled a 100.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, that'll do it. All right, so the three of you who passed, you still lose one sanity. Professor,
Sorry, I misread my thing. I rolled a 13.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was
Well,
like,
then in that case, you're fine. Well, you still lose one sanity. You're not fine, but you don't lose 5, so it's better.
So if we, like, anytime we roll sanity, even if we pass, we lose 1?
No, it depends. It depends on the roll. Would you? Sorry, my dog decided to jump up.
Puppy!
She wants to get out of the room. All right, there you go. You can leave. No, it depends. So, like violent things like this, you'd still lose a little bit of sanity. So, like before, when you heard the scream and it stopped and you succeeded, you didn't lose sanity. So the bad stuff, you still lose a little bit. You just don't lose as much. So you all lose 1. Yeah, the room is just coated in blood. You see what's left of the body of Martha. Her head is gone, and the rest of her seems to be cut up and mangled.
so as soon as I see that, I think I would. My gun's out pointing, and I think I'd be looking for any entrance and exit of this room.
Sure. That would be a spot hidden check.
That's success.
Okay. So you take a glance, and there's only one door. There's no window in here either. And then you look around, and you look at the blood, and you realize that there's streaks on the ceiling that don't really match up with everything else. And there's a part of the ceiling. There's a square in the ceiling. You wouldn't see it if you weren't looking for it. There's like a square in the blood that looks like part of the ceiling had moved. So you think there might be some kind of trapdoor in the ceiling.
All right, so I pointed out to everybody, and I'm pointing my gun at it, and I'm going to tell somebody to open it. Somebody open that.
I tell you what, I will open this one. Do I have to like climb on the tub or toilet?
Yeah, you'd
or
have to like
something
stand on
this?
the toilet or something to try to get up. It's not. There's no string or anything to pull down. Looking at it, so you get up there, you have to like push it up.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the plunger.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And I'm gonna close the toilet and stand on it, and so I want to be like not directly beneath.
Gotcha. Yep.
It, but I'm gonna like reach up and I'll just like with the plunger end, just kind of like try and push up and scoot.
Yeah, so you just kind of you poke and push, and this panel in the door. You want to say hi to everyone? Sorry, my dog came back. You what? Hi. Yeah.
Hi,
Okay.
puppy.
Get down.
That's the dog that ate the people.
You guys figured it out. All right, they're on to you, Gracie. You got to go. Yeah, so you scoot and push, and there's just this dark space in the ceiling there. You could the light from the rest of the bathroom gets up there. It's not big. It looks like maybe a foot and a half. The Reverend's got his cat. It seems like it's a space between the ceiling here and the floor of the second floor. Just like a little foot wide space. But when you look in, you can see there's blood in there as well.
Without even looking,
from
I'm gonna continue holding my weapon. Give me the flashlight.
I'll point it. Yep.
All right.
Yep. I'll point it up there. Yep.
All right.
All right. So
Is this
you point the
flashlight made of
up.
gold or something? What is the deal with the flashlight?
Listen, one person's got a gun. One person's got a god. One person's got a book. One person's got a flashlight. One person is the butler with the keys. Okay?
I think the person going in the crawl space needs to have both the gun and the flashlight.
Well, he didn't say he was going up there. He was just looking. How is he going to get up there? It's like 8 feet off the ground. I'm not lifting it up. I got to be back.
Do you want to try to get up there, Teddy, or are you just trying to look in there? No, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If I get the flashlight, I'm gonna look up in there.
Okay.
But I'm not. I'm gonna try and maybe have the professor boost me up there to look in there.
All right, I'll boost him up.
Sure. You don't have to roll for that. You hook your fingers together and brace yourself, and you lift him up. And so yeah, Teddy, you stick your head into the crawl space, and you look around. It's really dusty and dirty in here. Make another spot hidden check.
Fail.
I mean, there's some blood splatter in here, but you don't see anything else.
There's nothing in here.
It is so it's not just a box though. It extends as far as it looks like it just extends through the whole ceiling of the first floor.
So like a whole area in between the first and second floor.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
All right, I'm gonna climb back down.
All right, you hop down.
He has an idea.
It's safe to say that it's either an animal. It isn't one of us because we were all together when this happened. The door was locked.
Well, where was Malcolm? He has a key.
There is no key to the bathroom, so at least it's not that I have.
Malcolm was with us too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Malcolm was in the library with you.
Okay.
How's about we all go sit in the kitchen in case we get peckish? We take some chairs in there from the dining room, or we just sit there and just stay awake all night. We make some coffee, and nobody goes off on their own. And we just wait. I don't know why do we got to figure it all out tonight? We got plenty of time. When the sun
Malcolm
is out
seems
tomorrow,
to know more. He doesn't talk much.
well, he's gonna come and he's gonna sit with us, and we can ask him all of our questions.
I would like to leave the bloody bathroom if we could.
Yeah, easily. So you're heading to the kitchen?
I would like to. I assume there's no chairs in the kitchen. Maybe we stop in the dining room. We all grab a chair. We go and we sit in the kitchen and we just talk about happy thoughts.
I think we should go someplace where we can keep the fire going in case the lights go out again.
Nobody wants to look in the attic?
Tomorrow morning when the sun's shining, Maybe not in the middle of an electrical storm. You ever been struck by lightning? No, of course not, because your God loves you. It don't feel good. Is it an
Wait.
old enough house that there's a fireplace in the kitchen? Yeah.
Yeah, there would be a fireplace in the kitchen.
Let's just one
All I'm
room.
saying is that if the two people who have died were killed on the first floor and it looks like something is coming through the ceiling, maybe we shouldn't stay on the first floor.
So you would like to go to the basement? I am okay with going to the basement.
I mean, I was thinking of a bedroom, but I suppose we could look at the basement. That at least nothing would come through the walls there.
Seems like a good plan. We can go to the basement, barricade the door.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, everybody. Malcolm, could you take us
Kitty.
to the basement? This is Hammer.
Hi, Hammer. Very good, sir. And Malcolm starts leading the way back to the kitchen. So a minute later, you're in the kitchen. Malcolm goes to the corner and lifts up the trapdoor to the basement. There's a very steep set of wooden stairs that leads down into the dark basement. It looks more like a root cellar. It's not very, doesn't look very big. So who would like to go down first?
Is there light down there, or
Just the light that's coming from the kitchen.
then I would want the flashlight again.
I have been, yeah,
I
in the
second
in the
that.
basement.
No, you have not.
I have not been in the basement. I will go down into the basement first, as long as somebody is on the step directly behind me, coming with me.
I will be directly behind you.
Not
With the
pointing a
gun.
gun, not pointing it at me. I am not the bad guy here.
No, I
good?
think Teddy's past thinking you guys did this.
Oh, gee, thanks, Teddy.
All right, so the two of you head down. Harvey in the lead with his flashlight. You look around. The basement, such as it is pretty small. It's more like a root cellar with shelves built into the walls. The floor is hard packed dirt. That's basically it. It looks like it's just meant for storing food. There's nothing fancy here at all.
Are the walls very secure? Like, are they poured concrete or something?
It's stone.
Okay. What about the ceiling of the basement? Does it look secure?
No, the ceiling is just the floor of the kitchen.
There's no other exit out of here. There's no like outside
Not that you can see.
door.
No, it's just I mean, it's Massachusetts. They don't really have like storm cellars, so it's no, it's just basically just like a root cellar for storing food.
I am gonna go ahead and see if there's anything tasty.
There is not.
Dang.
Yeah, the shelves are mostly bare. You have to kind of stoop down too. It's only like 4.5 feet high, so you have to kind of stoop down as you go in.
So this is Malcolm. Could you show us how you fix the lights in case we all got to fix the lights later?
Yes, there's also a fuse box on one of the walls. I reset the fuse box over. So Malcolm comes down. He has to like really stoop down. He just walks over to the fuse box and opens it up. It is an ancient fuse box. He's like, I had to reset some of the fuses.
Are they labeled with room names?
They are not.
Oh.
They're labeled like 1, 2, 3.
Is there one that's labeled 13?
Yeah, but there's also a 14 and a 15 and a 16.
What I would like to see is like if there's one that was like added later or maybe is more bulky than the rest of them. I want to know if like there actually is a laboratory here.
You take a look. None of them. Make an electronics check.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I did roll a 69, which is super nice, but I failed.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's fuses. That's about all you know.
It's not my forte.
Now, Malcolm, I think it's time you came clean. What sort of animal was Burnwood keeping here?
It was not an animal per se, sir. It was a creature that he summoned from another plane.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, there's ridiculous things happening all over the place, all the time.
Are you talking about summoning a demon?
Something of the nature, sir.
So you do believe in demons?
Well, naturally, God has to have an sort of a flip side, like a yin and a yang. We have God and the devil, and any person who is in the church believes in demons, but I don't believe in a human's power to control them or summon them.
What?
Mr. Burnwood attempted to summon the creature in order to bind it, but something went wrong in the ritual and the creature killed him.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? Can you repeat that and maybe expound just
Master Burnwood
little
tried
bit?
to summon the creature in order to bind it, but something went wrong and the creature killed him.
to bind it to this plane or to himself or
I
like
do
a
not know the
tchotchke?
specifics. He did not tell me.
Okay.
Well, what did he tell you then?
He was trying to bind the creature to increase his power as part of his longevity cycle.
And Malcolm, it never occurred to you to maybe stop him from summoning a demon from hell, or tell him that it wasn't a great idea?
I don't think that's Malcolm's job.
No, the master would tell me if he wanted me to stop him.
And you didn't tell us this when we first got here? You put all our lives in danger. How are you so nonchalant about this?
You did not ask.
Yeah,
Why
he's
hasn't
got a
the
point.
creature eaten you yet?
The creature seems to only hunt things that are alive.
That are what?
You're telling me you're
Alive.
not alive.
No, sir.
Okay, that
Yeah, you should everyone can make sand checks.
explains a little bit. I succeeded.
Okay, then you don't lose anything.
That is a fail for me. Got a 90.
That is a fail for me as well.
All right. If you fail, you
Ask for
just.
Reverend.
All right. If you pass, you don't lose anything. If you fail, you just lose one. He looks pretty good for a corpse. He walks around a lot more than any corpses you've met.
I shoot him in the knee.
Oh,
Okay.
that's really loud.
You pull out the gun. Yeah. So everyone again make a sand check except Teddy, because Teddy just aims his gun at, you said, his knee.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. It just shoots Malcolm in the knee. It's rather jarring.
I failed.
Yeah. Okay. That's one.
I pass.
All right. You're nothing. You don't lose any if you pass. One if you fail. Because it's very surprising, and Malcolm like stumbles because suddenly his knee doesn't work, but he manages to kind of pick himself back up. There's no blood. There is a hole in his knee, but other than that, he seems fine. He's kind of limping now because you shot him in the knee, and he needs that to
Good
walk. But
gods, what was that for?
Look, man, he isn't bleeding.
I'm gonna check his pulse.
We decided that it
he has
wasn't
none.
one of us that was doing the bad stuff. So can we just shoot the bad thing, please, and not the butler?
Yeah, he has no pulse. I'm beginning to think something is a little off here.
That's not. That's not.
Yes, I have been dead for approximately 30 years.
Yeah, that's not the problem that we are dealing with at the moment. Can we just focus? Can we just focus for a second? Does anybody think that Malcolm is the biggest problem we have here in this house tonight until 9 o'clock in the morning? No, nobody thinks that. Dude, can we just not shoot any? Can we not shoot any of the people that is standing here, please?
Yeah,
Malcolm, do you have your own memories from when you were alive?
Yes, sir.
So, when you died, your soul didn't go to heaven? Did he somehow trap you in your body?
I do not know about that. I died, and the Master brought me back so I may continue to serve him, as I have done faithfully.
And do you remember everything about your life?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember your hopes and dreams for your future?
I remember having them.
Please tell us about your hopes and dreams while we sit
Well,
here and
I'm
get
just trying
murdered
to
one
figure
by
out
one by
where
a
his
demon.
soul went. I mean, I'm having a little bit of a crisis of faith here.
Could you do it quietly?
No.
I do not
Teddy?
know about my soul, sir.
Teddy, do you remember what I said about not shooting anybody here?
I'm going to be looking around, using my medical or my military expertise to try and find the most defensible spot in the house, and I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm holding up.
Yeah. So the base. I'm trying to see if you have any. There's really no applicable skill for that. So actually, make at the top right INT. That's your intelligence. Roll that.
Okay. No.
Was it a crit fail?
No, it was just a 91.
Just okay. So the problem with the basement is that there's only one way in. There's one way in, but there's only one way out. So if something comes down, you're trapped. So maybe your bedroom or something, because at least you could jump out the window.
I saw how that works.
Yeah, well.
But I'm going to leave the basement.
Okay.
There's no light in here other than the flashlight.
Yeah, that too.
Not happy with that.
All right, yeah. So Teddy walks out of the basement, and as you climb up the ladder back into the kitchen, there's another crash of thunder, and the power goes out again.
Okay,
Malcolm, can you get the fuse box going again, please? And then the Reverend is going to follow the guy with the gun.
Okay.
Same.
Malcolm walks over to the fuse box and looks at it. It's not the fuse box, sir. In all likelihood, a tree knocked down a power line.
Hey, thanks, Malcolm. Hey,
Malcolm, are there any
Malcolm,
other flashlights?
Can we get lunch together after this? Because I got some questions.
Unfortunately, I cannot leave the grounds, sir.
Oh, okay. I just come over for lunch in like a couple weeks. Yeah. You got any more flashlights or like torches or like spears or swords or something?
There are swords in the Master's trophy room. I do not know if there are any flashlights.
I'm going to head towards the library where I started the fire.
All right. Yeah, so you head to the library. The Reverend and the Professor are a few feet behind you because you kind of took off before them. So you get to the library. Teddy, make a spot hidden check, but it's going to be difficult. So you have to roll with the that top right number.
Oh, I got 100.
Oh, okay. So you definitely do not spot the hidden. You walk into the library. The fire is still going. It died down a bit because you haven't been in here for a few minutes. So there's light, but it's casting a lot of deep shadows into the room too.
So I'm going to approach the fire and try and get it.
Yeah, so you go over to the fire, you start poking it, you throw another log on, you start getting it back up. And as you turn around, there's something behind you. So Teddy, make a sanity check.
Okay. And I'm going to start shooting once I make a sanity check. Fail.
All right. So that is, let me double check. That's for the corpses. Where did I put it? There we go. It is for first. Okay. Oh, that's two sanity. So you turn around, and standing behind you is, at first you think it's a really weird person. They're 7 feet tall, extremely gaunt. Their arms are really long, and if they're hanging down, they'd probably come down to about their knees instead of like their hips, like a person would. Their legs are also extremely long. The torso's short. They're covered in short, thick black hair. But it's the head that gets you, because as you look up, you see it's a bat head. Its mouth is open. It's got fangs.
I
that are,
told
like,
you it was
dripping-
bats.
You did. It's dripping saliva. It's got that flat, upturned nose and big
Technically,
ears.
it's one bat.
And beady eyes. It doesn't have wings though. It's just got limbs. And you turn around and you see this thing, and it sees you. So it's going to be a round of combat. So what is your dexterity? Because that's your initiative order.
50.
50. Okay. So it has a higher dex than you. So it gets to go first, and then you get to go. So the thing just kind of lets out a hiss and reaches in to bite you with its mouth. So the way combat works is you have the dodge skill. So if you use your turn, if you use your action to dodge, you get to roll to dodge. Otherwise, you just have to hope that it misses. So it's up to. So you would do that, and you would dodge now, but then that would be your action. You wouldn't be able to shoot it.
Okay. I'm not gonna dodge.
Okay. So it's gonna roll.
So it's got to roll what?
Well, it has its own skill
Okay.
to bite you, and it crit failed. So it does not bite you. It like
bites
goes
itself.
in. Yeah, you just managed to like step out of the way, and that puts you at a really good spot if you want to shoot it.
Yes, I want to
You
shoot
get
it.
to shoot it, and you can add 20 to your score. So whatever your score is, raise it by 20 just for this roll, because it like just put itself in the perfect spot for you to hit it.
You mean lower it by 20? Because I want to get low, right?
Well, no, raise your score by 20, not your roll.
Oh, okay. So barely succeeded. I
Okay,
hit the number exactly.
perfect.
70.
All right. So you hit it. It is not dodging because it is in a bad spot. So with your pistol, I think that was a D10.
Yeah, 1d10.
Yeah. All right. So roll a D10 for damage.
Two.
2. Okay. Where's okay? So it screams out as you shoot it in the side. You can see your bullet impacts it, and blood spurts out. The Reverend and the Professor, you're about to enter the library. This all happened really fast, and you hear a gunshot and this weird animal squeal. Do you want to keep going into the library?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Can I somehow look in the door?
Yeah, sure. You
Without
can just
going-
peek your head in. You still have to make a sand check though, because you see the monster.
Pass.
Pass. All right, so you lose 1 because it is a terrifying monster.
That's fair.
Yep.
And I am gonna turn around and hightail it. God, where am I gonna run? I'm gonna run back to the basement, I think.
Okay. Professor, where are you running to?
I'm following right on his heels.
Okay, so Harvey, you are lagging behind everyone else. You're coming up from the kitchen. Out. You're just getting out of the basement. You're in the kitchen. As suddenly, the professor and the Reverend come running back into the room. So Teddy, it is a little annoyed since you just shot it. And as you look, it raises its hands, and you can see it has long fingers that are tipped in also long claws, and it's taking a swipe at you. So it rolls. Oh yeah, that's a hit. So would you like to use your turn to dodge, or are you just going to take it? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take this one.
Okay. So it rolls for damage. Could be really bad. Let's see. Okay. What's your health?
13.
Okay, you take 8 points of damage. Yeah, monsters, man.
You never want the GM to ask you what's your health before they announce the damage.
I was running a game for my friends yesterday, and in their first encounter, one of them would have gotten killed by the first time they got hit, so I had to cut it down a little bit. Yeah, so these razor sharp claws just swipe down, and you feel your chest just gets gouged. There's just 4 deep cuts right across. Your shirt is totally ruined. Blood is gushing out. You could feel it just running down your chest. It hurts a lot. So it is your turn now, though.
Can I run and gun? Can I like run and shoot at the same time?
Run away?
Yeah.
Yes. That's going to make it more difficult, though. So you're going to be rolling your shoot at that lower number on the top right.
The
The
middle one.
firearms. Yeah, the one on the top right next to the firearms.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm gonna run towards the basement.
That's the
and
half
shoot.
score. Yeah.
Okay. So that is all right. Yeah, let's do this. No, I miss.
Okay, so remember, you can push your rolls if you want, but
No,
if you
I'm
fail, it's worse. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do
so
that for this one.
You run. You still run.
Yes.
You do that, but you miss because you just kind of like turning behind you and pulling the trigger, and your shot just goes wide. So you all hear a second shot. Harvey, what are you going to do? What are the rest of you doing anyway?
I was going to follow them to, stay with the group.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear the noises and see them running back to me, I think, okay, yeah, no, I'm going to stay here, and I am going to find the biggest knife that I can, or like fire poker, something.
In the kitchen, you
stabby.
grab a knife real quick.
Yeah.
You do.
Okay, so
you
flashlight
grab
knife.
a butcher knife. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's stay in here together.
Are you in the kitchen, or are you running back to the basement?
If they're all going to the basement, I will go back.
Barricade ourselves in the basement. And I guess I will grab anything that looks like a weapon, although I don't have a great deal of hope that anything that we can get from the kitchen is going to make a damn bit of difference. If anything,
there is another butcher knife that you can see.
I mean, I guess I'll take it so I can slit my own throat when the thing gets through our...
I don't think God likes suicide.
Am I getting there, or am I still?
Yeah, you're on the other side of the house. So it is engaged in combat with you. So every round is like 3 seconds. So it is following you out of the library. You turn around, you can see it's chasing you, especially now that it has the scent of blood in the air. So the rest of you are all hiding. Professor, are you hiding in the basement too?
Yep, I am cowering behind everyone else.
Can we barricade the door?
That would be a next turn.
Teddy's back. I don't care if Teddy's back or not.
I mean, the Bible does love its sacrificial lambs. So
the
Teddy,
good of the many is greater than the good of the one.
Right. Yeah, but trying to barricade the door, that would be a next round thing. So this round, you look around, you grab the knife, and you start making your way into the basement. So Teddy, it is not attacking you directly. You look behind you as you're running, and the thing seems like it's leaping through the air. It's jumping at you, like it's going to try to pin you down. So what would you like to do?
I'm going to dodge and then run.
So make a dodge check.
I'm all about getting away now.
It's probably a good idea.
Damn, missed it by 4. Okay, I'm going to push it.
Push it. Okay.
Yeah, I made it.
Made it. Okay, so you're running, and you you look over your shoulder and the thing leaps at you, and you're thinking, "Oh, I'm dead," and then you trip as you're running, and so you fall down, and you manage to catch yourself, but it sails right over you, and you manage to pick yourself up and keep running. So now you're back in the sitting room. Um, what are the rest of you doing? So it's going to be
The
basically
sitting room or the kitchen?
you're in the sitting room.
Okay.
Or it would take you if you want it, you can't. Yeah, no, you're in the sitting room. You have to go through the living room to get to the dining room to get to the kitchen. So you're basically going like a room per turn.
Now that I know that it's like a demon type thing, before I go down into the basement, like, was there like a cask of salt that they were like preserving things in downstairs, or do I need to grab salt from?
You find there's
the
salt
kitchen?
downstairs. You can, you've got salt. That's fine.
Okay, that's all I need: salt and a knife and a
Where's
flashlight.
Malcolm is in the kitchen.
Malcolm, go upstairs and get all the journals you can find, and bring down anything that has to do with how to get this creature back where it came from.
Yeah, why don't you grab the ones from his room?
The master kept all his notes about these matters in his laboratory.
Yeah, where is that?
Off the adjacent to the trophy room.
Great, go and get them and bring them to us in the basement.
Very good, sir. And Malcolm starts walking away.
Please.
So next round, it's back to you, Teddy. This thing, it's in the drawing room with you, the sitting room, and it seems a little distracted by all the other blood that's still in there. So you look, it actually stops chasing you to pick up the legs it left behind. So you get a free round to keep running away, unless there's something you want to do.
Oh no, I'm gone. I'm
Okay, yeah,
booking
you
it.
just keep running. It seems to have. So as you're entering the dining room, Malcolm is coming the other way.
I don't care about that.
He's just walking. Yeah. So are you the rest of you? Are you keeping the basement door open for Teddy?
Nope.
Okay. So Teddy, you run into the kitchen, and the basement door is closed.
All right, I'll use a strength check to try and force it open.
Okay. So which of you on the other side is holding the door closed? So it's an opposed check.
Well, is Teddy calling out? If I can hear him, then I'd be willing to open the door if he says the creature's not there.
Well, if I get to the door and it's like barred or shut or held shut, I would say, "Let me in, let me in."
The
Are you
door doesn't
alone?
lock, so you would have to hold it from the inside.
Yes, I'm alone. Let me in.
I mean, I'm willing to let him in. I don't know what the others are going to do.
I'm getting right with my God. Not gonna end well for any of us.
Yeah, I'm just cowering in the corner right now.
All right, so Reverend, you open the door. Teddy, you grab it and throw it open, and you climb down, and the two of you start pulling it back shut. As you see, the creature runs into the kitchen. Now its face is like smeared with blood, and it screeches and lunges towards you. So Teddy and the Reverend, or one of you, make a dexterity check. This is going to be a speed thing.
My
See
dex
how
is only
quickly
40. I don't know if you
pull
want
the
me
door
doing
down.
it.
I got.
What's your deck? Oh, you should do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Hopefully, I can roll worth crap. Yes, 21.
21.
Success.
That is much better than its 91. So you watch, oh shit, you slam the door down just as this thing is like sliding across the floor towards you. And you grab it and you hold the door as you hear its claws digging into the floor. And it's like screeching, trying to get in, and it's like you're holding it. Do you ever see Twister? You know, like the very beginning of Twister, where the dad's holding the door and it keeps buckling. It's kind of like that. Like the thing's trying to lift the door up, and Teddy and the Reverend are holding it down as it's like lifting up a bit, and then it just stops.
I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna scream, "Somebody get me something, some way to like rig this, whether it's tying it off to something or like slipping a board in something. I don't know how the mechanism works, but
So this door, it's not designed to lock. It's really just like a trap door. There's no locking mechanism. There's a handle on the inside, so you can like pull it down behind you. But
right.
that's
So
about it.
so is there like a way I can? Does it push up or pull down?
It pushes up from where you are in the basement.
So can I take a board and stick it through the handle?
You
get
could
what I'm saying?
try. Let's go with what would be probably craft, honestly,
Okay.
which is art/craft.
That's probably a fail. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you take a board, you jam it in there. You're not sure if it's going to work, but it makes you feel a little better.
All right, and then I'm gonna kind of collapse on the ground and like be holding
you
the
guys, you
bloody
see Teddy.
chest.
Teddy's looking a little pale. Just got these huge gouges across his chest. A lot of blood.
Does anyone have medical skills? I
Nope.
told you we should have had the medical doctor in the party.
Made a medical doctor.
I'm a
You're supposed to
doctor.
have more
I'll see
players.
what I can do.
Yeah, what kind of doctor? You're like a doctor of books.
Natural sciences have many applications in life.
So everyone has first aid at a base of 30. So
Yeah,
you
I'll try to do what I can.
As long as you don't crit fail, you won't make it worse.
I would like to sprinkle a line of salt. I don't know, like on the board that he jammed up there, or like the ladder.
You could like kind of get on like the lip of the door if you like take it and it'll take longer, so you have to like take a pinch of salt and put it down. But you could do that.
I will go ahead and do that and just be
Sure.
like, I got nothing, guys. Anybody know what time it is? It's like 8:30.
I've
I don't-
failed on my first aid check.
Oh,
Just a regular failure?
Just regular, yeah.
All right. So you let me take a look, and you take a look at those wounds, and that is way outside anything you know.
I don't think that the devil cares about whether it's 9 a.m. or not. I think we are.
Yeah, but we're not gonna be alone at 9 a.m. anymore.
Well, the lawyer's going to come back and get his guts ripped out too.
I don't know.
We got to
I
get
don't
out
know.
of here.
It's okay. That's
I
we
said-
know that's
Yeah, I
Mm.
sent Malcolm to the laboratory to bring back the notes, and maybe we can recreate the but in reverse somehow.
I try and patch myself up.
Yeah, you can make a first aid check.
Does anybody know what time it is? Do I gotta watch?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. That was for Teddy.
Yeah, no.
As long as you don't crit fail, yeah. So you just not that you can nothing you could do right now. You're just kind of locked in a dirty basement. You don't have any stuff with you, so maybe if like you can get a first aid kit, you can patch yourself up, but not right now. Yeah, you have a watch. It's about 11 p.m.
Great.
Yeah.
10 more. 10 more.
We're almost there.
Well, sun's almost up, everybody. It's like 3 a.m.
I don't think this is a vampire.
Look, okay. I am trying to hold on to a tiny bit of hope, which I would have thought you knew about.
Well, yeah, my hope is Malcolm going to the laboratory to bring
Oh.
back whatever notes.
Well, I
Which at
thought-
that moment,
I
there's
thought
a
your hope was
boom,
God.
boom, boom, boom on
Okay.
the basement door.
Who is it?
It's Malcolm, sir. I brought back the notebooks.
All right,
you-
Malcolm, get in here.
Is he alone? Malcolm, do you see the monster?
There is nothing else here.
Okay, you can calm down.
So
Hey, do you
the
got a
door.
problem with salt, Malcolm?
No. I
Okay,
use
you can
it
come
often
down.
in cooking.
It was
He
tasty,
lifts
by
up
the
the
way.
door. You see the board that you placed there just kind of pops out of the way. It wasn't actually doing much. And Malcolm opens the door and just leaves it open and comes walking down the stairs.
Close it behind you, please.
Very well. He
Yep.
grabs the door and closes it down.
Hey, did I tell you that dinner was really good?
Thank you, sir. It
You
was
are
one of the
welcome.
master's favorites.
It was delicious.
And he hands another notebook to the Reverend. Here is the notebook you requested, sir.
Maybe don't
Okay.
read everything out loud in case it's
Yeah.
a summon and spell. Just
So
like
I
skim.
have Latin and I have occult.
Okay.
Any of this going to help me decipher what to do to get this demon back where it came from?
In fact, both of those will help you do that. So
Can I
Latin is my higher score.
can I aid with occult, or would it be just like a
yes.
separate?
No, you can aid. So if the two of you sit down together, I would say either so occult would be better for figuring out. Parts of the journal are in English and parts are in Latin. So I would say occult would be first, and whichever one of you rolls it can get a +20 to your score from the other one helping you.
Okay,
And
I
then
have.
we use the highest of whoever rolled.
Well, no. So the helper doesn't have to roll.
Oh,
The helper just gives a bonus to whoever's doing the actual roll.
what's
I
your
have-
occult score?
70.
Yeah, you should do it, and I'll help you.
That's
Yeah,
the
so
one
you
thing
have-
I do.
You would have a 90 for this, essentially.
So while they're doing that, I'm gonna have Malcolm. I'm gonna tell Malcolm to hold that door shut and don't open it unless one of us tell you to open it.
Very
I
good,
rolled.
sir. He grabs it and just holds it.
I rolled a 14.
A 14. All right, that's very good. So
It's the one thing I do.
you start. The two of you start reading through this notebook, and it's different from the journals we were reading upstairs. This is very organized. It's detailed. At first, it seems like formulas, and then it gets into more esoteric things. There's spells and other summoning rituals. You realize this was like his wizard's notebook, essentially. There's a lot of spells for taking life from people and then implanting it into yourself. And you start to get the sense that Jebediah Burnwood was a bit of a necromancer and was prolonging his own life by killing other people and taking their life force, essentially. There is a spell in here about reanimating the dead, which you assume is what he used on Malcolm. One of the very last things in the notebook is something to summon a creature called a Bertra. There is a big pentagram, so there are parts of it are in English, parts of his notes, and basically it spells out how to summon this thing. So there's like a big pentagram that has to be perfectly drawn in order to bind the creature. So his plan was to summon the creature into the summoning circle and then use another spell to get rid of it. However, with your success, you realize that, well, I'm sorry, he was going to summon it and then he was going to use a different spell to try to bind it to his will, to give himself like an attack monster, essentially. But you realize there's also another spell in here to dispel the creature. So you could do that. However, both the Reverend and
Let's do that one.
Well, you have well, first, both of you make a sanity roll because reading text like this always comes with a sanity cost.
I passed.
Passed. Okay, so
I
one of you
mean,
pass.
I am not a fan of this guy anymore. I think he was dealing with stuff he didn't really understand, but I
Very
passed.
much so. Yes.
I passed.
All right, so both of you just lose one sanity for passing. Apparently, your grandfather was a practitioner of the dark arts. Not great.
Spoiler alert, Malcolm told us that at the beginning of the evening.
Yes, he did. Yeah. So
now do you believe it?
So the notes about how to do the spells are in English. The spells themselves are in Latin. So that's where that would come in. The actual incantation are things that you have to do in Latin.
Anyone else speak Latin that could help me, or am I rolling this on my own?
Oh, I've taken many courses in Latin.
Oh, Professor, I knew you would be useful.
Okay. So here's the rub about that, though.
I did not.
The dispel ritual only works if the creature is in front of you.
Good luck, Reverend.
It's silent.
About how long do we think it would take to cast the spell?
How long will it take you to cast a spell?
The dispel takes about 5 minutes.
So we got to be looking at the thing for 5 minutes. Somebody who speaks Latin got to be looking at the thing for 5 minutes.
So the two
Now
of you,
will you give me the flashlight?
Just hang on.
Reverend, or actually all of you, you can make idea checks, which is rolling your INT at the very top. At the very top right, you have your INT. Just roll under that, and you'll have an idea.
I got it.
I passed.
Okay, so you realize that there's a spell to summon it, and there's a circle to bind it. So you could summon the creature to the circle where it would theoretically be trapped, and then you could do the ritual to dispel it. Theoretically.
Malcolm, what went wrong with Burnwood's ritual?
I do not know exactly, sir. He summoned the creature, but it was able to break out of the circle that he had drawn.
Why can't I leave this house?
I do believe the master put some sort of incantation on as part of the ritual for his will.
So,
Oh.
is there anything in the books about that? And I turned to Harvey and the Reverend.
Well, if he put something on the house to keep the devil in, then I'm assuming that if we get out, the devil gets out too.
I don't care about that.
The thing that's keeping
Some
you
of
all
us
in,
do.
there is mention of it. It's a specific type of binding spell. It's different from what he was using to try to control the creature. You gather from what you read that the key that the lawyer used is literally the key to the spell. So when he locked the house with that key, it turned on the spell, and it won't turn off until the lawyer unlocks the house in the morning.
Oh, it's almost like what I said.
Okay, so hear me out. All right. Instead of trying to mess with this thing, why don't we create the circle that he can't enter or that he can't get out of right in front of this trap door, and then hide behind it until the door gets unlocked and we get the heck out of here.
Well, why wouldn't we just want to banish it if we had it trapped already, rather than sitting there for, however many hours waiting and hoping it doesn't get out?
Well, I mean, if it shows up, all I'm saying is we don't seek out this creature. I've faced it and nothing good's going to come of that.
I mean, I'm not really relishing seeking it out either. I like your idea of setting a trap, but if we do trap it, I'm going to try to banish it.
Oh, yeah, please. By all means, you can do what you want. I'm just don't want to summon it here.
Well, the basement you're in isn't big enough to draw the circle. It says in the book like what the dimensions have to be, and the basement is not big enough.
We'll do it in the kitchen and then hide in the basement.
Yeah, you can do that.
All right.
So the other thing is that the circle has to be drawn in blood.
Well, I'm already bleeding.
Yeah, I was going to say, lucky for us, we've already got lots of that.
We got 2 rooms full of blood.
Yeah, 2 people full of
That's
it.
true, yeah. All right, so Malcolm, let's go of the door, and you make your way back to the kitchen.
Malcolm, just real quick before we go anywhere, are there secret tunnels and passages in the house
Yes, sir.
that we could use? Okay, yeah. Could we use those?
There are openings in most rooms that lead into the spaces in the walls and the ceiling. They don't lead directly to any one particular place.
Okay, so but the monster knows about them too.
The monster's using those.
The monster's definitely using those. Okay. Yeah. You guys ever seen Clue? At the end where they're all running in one group of people and they're all real close to each other.
No, but I've seen Alien.
Let's just stay real close together and listen, you go off by yourself, you die. I think
I'm
that's the
going to
one thing
have
we know.
my gun, and as soon as I see anything, this creature related,
Mhm.
I'm gonna shoot.
Yep, and I got my
Alright.
knife and I got my flashlight. And where are we going? Are we going to the laboratory?
Carry the journal just in
He's
case
got-
it shows up.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think we go to the laboratory. Maybe grab
Okay.
some weapons on the way through. We got some weapons.
Malcolm says there are weapons in the trophy room.
Yeah, I would like a sword.
That is in the trophy room.
Yeah, are they sharp? I would like a sharp sword.
So the four of you huddle together. Your only light source is the one flashlight and the little bit of light that's coming from the fires that you lit, and the occasional flash of lightning through the windows. You make your way back out into the foyer and into the library and into the trophy room. It's the first time you guys have been in here. There's your flashlight just plays over the room. There's mounted animals everywhere. There's birds hanging from the ceiling. You jump because there's like a bear in the corner that's like up, like it's lunging at you. There's a tiger, stuffed in the corner, and a lion. It's a taxidermist's dream in here.
And everybody else's nightmare.
Yes. There is another fireplace in here that's cold. There's a few overstuffed leather chairs. Above the fireplace are two swords that are crossed in a display. You can grab those down.
Would anybody else like a sword?
If my fighting skill is brawling, then I assume I want to stay unarmed.
Yeah, brawling would be. So there would have to be under fighting, like it would be melee. The base for using a sword, though, would be 25%. So.
What's the base for using a kitchen knife?
Same thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the bigger one.
I'm just going to keep both hands on the journal open to the page of the ritual just in case.
Sure.
Does he have a hunting rifle in here?
Yes, there is. There is a glass gun case, and inside there are 3 guns, which you can identify right away. There's a 22 caliber rifle. There's a 58 Springfield rifle musket, which does a lot of damage, but it's really slow. He's also got a double barrel shotgun.
I'll take the shotgun.
Okay.
And ammo.
Professor,
Yes,
would
there's
you
ammo
like
in there,
to carry the one-shot musket?
I am armed with my sharp mind.
Okay. Would you just carry it for one of us then?
Very well,
Yeah,
if I
thank
must.
you.
So the cabinet is locked. I'm assuming you're just going to break the glass and reach in and take it if you want. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you reach over, it's locked, and you just elbow it, and the glass shatters easily. So you grab the shotgun. That would fall under the rifle, your skill, rifle/shotgun.
Yep.
So it does the shotgun. Oh, so I'm clicking the wrong things. All right. So the hunting knives do 1d6 plus your damage bonus in damage. Your damage bonus, I think, for everyone except Teddy is 0. It's on the bottom right of the first page. It's your damage bonus. The saber does 1d8 plus 1 plus your damage bonus. The shotgun, let me double check. I believe, the shotgun does 4d6 damage at close range, and otherwise it does 2d6 damage. If you're right up close to it, it really hurts. Otherwise, it spreads out and doesn't do as much damage.
All right.
Musket,
and I don't get damage bonus for that, right?
no, the damage bonus is just for melee weapons. That takes into account your strength. So if you hit someone harder with a sword, it does more damage. You can't shoot someone harder with a shotgun, unfortunately.
Can I have a shotgun and a sword?
Yeah, there's another sword if you want to grab the sword too.
All right.
The musket does 1d10 plus 4 damage, but you get 1 shot, and then it takes 3 rounds to reload because it's a musket. So that first shot can really hurt.
Yep.
But if you
And
missed,
then you just
then-
bring out the sword.
you better hope you don't miss.
Yeah.
All right. So you also notice that the far wall of the room for a second you think it's broken. It's like cracked down the middle, and you realize that now that you're looking at it, especially you, Harvey, since you've been here and you're looking at your map, this room is smaller than what it should be based on the dimensions of the house. And you realize that there is a secret room beyond the door on the beyond the wall on the far side, which Malcolm left ajar. So you go in there, and this seems to be the room that's under the tower in the house. So you look up, and it just soars above you and higher than even the 2 stories of the library. This room is unfinished. It's just bare walls. There's tables just strewn about. There's a large metal cage hanging from the ceiling that has a skeleton inside of it. And there is the pentagram that's in the book is drawn on the floor, and it is splattered with blood, old dried blood.
There's no
You have found the
circle drawn on
laboratory.
the floor, though.
There is the symbol is drawn on the floor. Yes.
The circle.
It clearly didn't work. So
Yeah,
what's
was it
the problem
drawn
with it?
correctly?
So Reverend, make an intelligence check.
Fail, but maybe I'm going to push this one.
Sure. Yeah, you can push it.
That's a success. 50% success too.
Perfect. So you take you look at the journal, and you're looking at the journal, and you look at the floor, and you're looking at first you think it's fine, and then you realize that there's some a little bits of detail in like the center of the circle that were drawn incorrectly. Like 1 or 2 of the symbols were transposed, so the whole thing just didn't work. So you could fix that, and theoretically
Yeah,
the circle
I'm going to
would work.
fix that.
All right, so you have to get some blood from somewhere. You do have a bleeding
Come over
compatriot.
here.
You have to kind of you stick your finger in Teddy's raw chest wound, and he winces, and you fix the symbols so that they're correct. So you theoretically have a binding circle. So what would
So
you guys
how
do?
long is it going to take? I know that the banishing spell takes 5 minutes. How long is the binding spell going to take?
So there's no spell to bind it. The way it works is if you summon it, part of the ritual, you kind of like determine where you want it to summon. So you summon it into the circle, and then it's just trapped in there.
So Teddy's idea of just waiting for it to show up and like accidentally walk over the trap is not going to work.
If it walked into the circle, it would also be trapped. It would depend how smart the creature is. If it's smart enough to know that it would be trapped in the circle, it might walk around it. There's plenty of room in here for it to walk around the circle.
Can we,
So that's why
put
it
a
would
throw
depend.
rug over it or something?
Let's
You could try.
huddle inside the circle.
I'm not going into a demonic binding circle.
I'm not a demon. I'm not scared.
Are you a demon?
Well, Teddy here has volunteered to be bait. That works for me.
I mean, if you want to do that, if you want to have one person in the circle and the rest of you hide, that could work.
Why won't we summon it? I don't understand why we're not just summoning it.
If we're gonna do that, then we can summon it. I don't like the idea of calling it here.
It's entirely up to you guys.
Can we paint the circle on the ceiling and have it walk under it?
From what you understand, that far away, it wouldn't work. Also, the ceiling in here is like 40 feet above you because you're right under the tower.
I want to
so that
search
really
this
work.
room for any secret entrances, exits, anywhere it could come from.
Make a spot hidden check.
That is a success.
Okay. You look around and you do see there's basically a line in the wall that would be the space that you saw before between like the floor and the ceiling. And you realize that it can get into, so that's like right where the two floors meets. So it could get in there, and that runs around the whole, like half the tower. So it's got that long space where it could get in and out of.
Just to be safe, I'm not going to mess with the circle at all, but I want to take the salt and just kind of do an additional circle around, just so I feel like I'm doing something, because I'm a little out of my league here. It's usually like faulty lighting or faulty wiring.
Yeah, the first time you actually encounter this stuff, it goes usually pretty poorly.
Yeah, I'm
but yeah,
gonna
so
need some new pants.
You put some salt around the circle. That's fine. So you guys gonna wait, or are you gonna summon it?
Is Malcolm here? Can we ask Malcolm if there's any other notebooks that we don't have?
Oh yeah, Malcolm came with you.
Here's a thought. What if we do this summoning spell and we bring a second one instead of the one that's already in the house? And then they mate, and then there's a whole bunch of demon baby bat face creatures.
So you could tell, reading the way the spell works, the summoning spell summons the creature that's closest to you. So it wouldn't summon a second one. It would summon the one that's in the house to the circle.
Okay, that's
I mean, typically
comforting.
in my vast occult knowledge of being a reverend, you would have like one spell per demon, right?
Yeah. So
there's only one demon.
Well, you're not sure. I mean, you call it a demon. Whether or not it's actually a demon would definitely be up for debate. But you're pretty confident that if you do the summoning spell, you're just going to summon the one that's in the house already.
I am confident calling it a demon, even just because we don't know what its pronouns is yet.
That's true.
So does Malcolm think that we have all the information that that my grandfather had, or is he going to tell us there's more?
No, as far as Malcolm knows, that's it. That's his main notebook. There's no other secret stuff hidden away anywhere.
Malcolm, if that creature appears, kill it.
Yes, sir.
Please. And thank you.
All right. So what are you guys doing? I'm not sure what your plan is.
I mean, we could wait just like a little bit. It's not actually 3 a.m. It's like 11:30.
Yes, I know.
Okay. So we got like some time until we can leave the house.
So my concern about waiting is that this is a very intricate spell, and if I am pressured, I am going to screw it up. And so I would rather do the summoning when I have the chance to do it again if I get it wrong, without this creature breathing its foul breath in my face and kind of messing up my concentration.
Okay. You don't know that it has foul breath. It might smell like pepper.
Teddy, does it have foul breath?
It has foul breath.
Okay, so now we know. Yeah, okay. I would like to stand behind something. Just
sure, there's table. You could like upend a table if you want to like duck behind that.
I would certainly like to do that, and bring the bookie professor with me with the musket, and just maybe we are not in view.
Professor, I believe, is going to help the Reverend with the spell.
Okay, I'll take the musket now.
There you go.
Just have that next to me.
So what's your Latin skill?
Go ahead. Huh?
What's the professor's Latin skill?
It is a 50.
Same.
So one of you would do the spell. The helper would give them a +20 bonus to their skill.
I'm going to stand real close to them
Okay.
And my standard operating procedure is wait till he gets close range and give him both barrels.
Perfect. All right. You've got the shotgun ready. So one of you is doing the spell.
Reverend, these matters of monsters and such seem to be in your arena, so I will assist in the translation as you need, but you can lead the way.
All right. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to retire as soon as this night is over.
Plan. All right. So Reverend, make a Latin check. You get a +20, so that brings your skill to 70.
This is for the summoning spell, correct?
For the summoning spell, yes.
And we're sure that we fixed the binding circle. Do we want to just maybe like take one more look at it?
Do you want to take a look at it? I'm happy to have you check my work.
I will just match line to line, see if it looks. I'm good at puzzles, you know. It's.
Yeah. I mean, you can make an intelligence check if you.
I'm just gonna check one more. Just one more time. 69, which is a success.
Okay. Yeah. No, it looks good.
Nice. Yeah. No, it looks real nice.
All right. So Reverend.
That's great, because if we all died, I didn't want it to be only my fault.
Now you can share the blame.
You're on the list.
I rolled a 35 Latin, which is a pass.
Very good. All right. So Reverend, you start chanting, and as you do, the rest of you sort of feel the static electricity building in the room. And as the Reverend keeps chanting, his voice gets louder and louder, and the electricity seems to grow more. The hairs on your arms stand up, and suddenly there's just a flash at the center of the circle, and the creature is standing there. So Harvey, you haven't seen it yet, so you make a sand check.
I am behind the table.
Are you not looking at it at all?
I would like to not look at it yet.
Okay, so then you cower behind the table.
Yeah, I do.
So Reverend, you also casting spells takes a toll. You lose 2 sanity.
Okay.
And 2 magic points. Basically, if your magic points hit 0, you just get exhausted and pass out. So you're not gonna die.
I started with 16, so now I'm down to 14.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You feel a little drained, but other than that, you're pretty good. Yeah. So Teddy and Professor, the creature suddenly appears, and it lunges at you, and as soon as it would cross the barrier of the circle, it just like slams against nothing.
I put it right up against it and fire.
Okay. It is going to try to dodge, but you can make a firearms check, and you get a +20 because you are in very close range to it.
That's
However,
a pass.
it would like to not get shot.
With my 20, I have a 90, so
And you got a 20.
84.
Oh, you got an 84.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you hit it. So roll your 46 of damage. As both barrels, you just empty them into it.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I messed up. 18.
18. Okay. You guys watch as Harvey just walks over to the edge of the circle, puts the gun up, and just blows the thing's head off. There's just
Teddy, not Harvey.
Harvey. Teddy. I'm sorry. Credit where credit is due. Teddy just raises the shotgun and blasts in both barrels. There's just a spray of red, and this the headless creature kind of stumbles around for a moment and like it's waving its hands like it doesn't understand what happened, and then just collapses.
Then I turn to the Reverend and say, "Now do your spell."
Yeah, I'm doing it anyway. We'll send that
Sure.
headless demon back to Satan.
All right, so it's gonna be another Latin check. If the professor's still helping you, you can get another plus 20.
Is a 5 a critical success?
It certainly is. So I'm not going to bother with the sanity loss or anything. So it does take more magic points from you. You feel more drained as you do it, but you complete the incantation, and the body of the creature bursts into flame, but it's like purplish fire. It doesn't go high. It's just like very close to it, and it just quickly gets engulfed in this flame, and then the flames just sort of recede back down, and the body's gone. And you
Yes!
can feel, Reverend, you feel as you finish the spell like a sense of peace. Like you know you did it, and the thing is gone. Like you just know.
Is how hi, we good? Are we good? There was I'm still not looking. Are we good? Is it gone? Is it good? Are
I
there still
reload
people
the
here?
shotgun.
Can't be too careful. Yeah, no, it's gone.
Anyone? Can we still? Did it take our voices? Did it kill? Oh my god! Did it kill everybody? Is it
Alco
gonna kill me
says
now?
the creature is gone, sir.
Oh, yeah, good. Because I was about to come out with this sword and
You
just
stand up and look around. There's more blood than there was before, but other than that, there's nothing else here.
Oh man, I'm so glad we did that together. Okay.
Yes, we definitely
Okay.
did it together, all of us. No one was hiding behind a table.
Someone's got to be here to tell the story. All right. So
So does that
I'm
mean
gonna
the
look
spell's
around in this
broken, or are we still
laboratory.
stuck?
Sorry, what was that, Reverend?
Are we still stuck here, or is the spell broken to get out?
You try the front door. The front door's still locked. That's a different spell. You still have to wait for the lawyer to return with the key in the morning.
I'm going to go sit at the front door, cross-legged on the floor, shotgun in my hand on my lap, and then I'm going to try and patch my wounds again.
Okay. You don't have to roll. So Harvey, you look around the room. There's a whole bunch of there's like a shelf of vials of chemicals and alchemicals and all sorts of ingredients. But the Reverend has the most important thing, which is the actual magic book.
Yeah, I
and-
just want like
And the
some
Reverend is
stuff.
keeping it.
I just would like some stuff that like would make my office look cooler.
Oh yeah,
So
there's
some like dusty vials and
yeah,
There's
there's
a
a
like
few like
skeleton in a cage over here.
yeah, that's not that big of an office.
Yeah, you find there's one that's like literally labeled "Eyes of Newts." That
Oh,
you grab,
yeah.
like a few of those old dusty vials with the handwritten labels that are peeling off. Yeah, you get some of those.
I'm gonna take some of this. Is gonna look sweet.
Harvey, you managed to find like some bandages to patch yourself up. You need stitches though. Like you need to go to a doctor, but you can't yet. But you're not dying, so that's good. You're gonna have some gnarly scars when this eventually heals over. But yeah, you just sit there. The rest of the night goes very uneventfully, and at 9:04 in the morning,
I'm gonna eat as much as I can. I am a nervous eater.
yeah. Well, there's a fridge. Some of the leftover food from dinner is still in there. So you have some cold chicken and whatnots. But yeah, so I'm assuming none of you are going to sleep for the rest of the night. But like I said, at 9:04 in the morning, you hear a car door close in the driveway.
You're late.
And then the door opens. The lawyer walks in. He's got a bag from Dunkin' Donuts with like a box of Joe thing in there and some donuts. And he walks in. The first thing he sees is Teddy sitting on the floor. Oh God, what? And he looks around, and then he sees the blood splattered sitting room. Like, what the hell happened?
I stand up and butt stroke him with the thing for locking me in there,
I
and then
I
walk out the
falls back.
door.
as he's falling, I grab the box of donuts and I walk out the door.
He sits up and his clutch is broken. Oh, what are you doing? Yeah, his guy blood down his face for a broken nose.
I will grab him by the collar and tell him, "You need to call animal control," and then I will walk out.
There's rats.
Okay, so that is the end of your night at Burnwood Manor.
By the way,
So-
the Reverend is keeping the notebook, and he's going to go back home and pore over them, and eventually attempt some of these spells himself. Because
very good.
God
That's
is
my
dead.
favorite ending. Yeah, especially because there's spells in there to prolong your life, to resurrect the dead, a whole bunch of other fun stuff too. And
Yeah,
it's a
good
family,
old
it's a
Grandpa
family
was really
heirloom.
onto something. Yeah, totally.
And like I know we're gonna get like lots of money from this like house thing because there's 4 of us, but I'm still gonna take like tchotchkes and things from like the sitting room and just whatever. Maybe like if they got some blood splattered on them, I got a whole new shelf. I just put up.
I'm going to turn
The
to every
Reverend
one of
doesn't
them and
even
say,
care.
never contact me again.
I don't know you. I don't want to know you.
I don't know you already.
Okay. So that's the end of the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yes,
Yes,
thank
it
you
was
so
lots of
much.
fun.
You're quite welcome.
It was so fun.
So if you want the basic backstory, was that he tried to summon the monster and it did not go well and it killed him, which is when you came in. So Malcolm found his body, and then it was reported in the papers as a hunting accident because the coroner didn't know what else to make of it. Yeah, so he was the
200-year-old
necromancer killed
man
by it. Just about, yeah.
in a hunting accident.
You know, he was killed by the cougar that he was trying to hunt.
Well,
in
what does she have to say?
Massachusetts. All right. Well, thank you very much for playing. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I guess, David, do you want to take us out? All right. Good night. Thank you, everyone. I hope our viewers enjoyed it as well.